Your dog's gonna be flapping around the whole podcast recording?
Yeah.
Goats. Are your goats gonna be flapping around the whole podcast?
Are your goats gonna be flapping
No,
around?
I have one goat and 2 dogs.
Oh, okay.
Welcome
to Animorphs Book Club Podcast. We read the Animorphs and then we talk about them. This time we read book 9 of the Animorphs. I bumped the table. I hope they didn't pick up on the recording.
The secret.
It's called A Secret. I forgot the title because the titles don't mean anything in the series. There are no secrets in this book.
Nope. This is the first book that nobody upvoted.
Oh, you're right. So in our Discord,
So nobody thought this was like a good book.
That was fast.
In our Discord server, we as soon as we read a book, we like react to it. We say whether it's thumbs up, thumbs down, or neutral. Yeah, no one gave this one a thumbs up.
If anybody voted up this book, I would have some questions for them.
Okay, here's what happened. I was reading through the book. I had like 2 chapters left, and they upvoted it. And then I read the rest, and I was like, that's not an upvote.
That's why you upvoted after.
Yeah, why would you even
Wait,
do
what
that?
about the first 22 chapters were worth upvoting?
Yeah, honestly,
It was very close to being a medium, but I was like, it's enjoyable enough.
I can
it's not
understand.
good.
And then you just hated the ending? Where
I didn't hate it. It was just really... No.
They're liars.
No, that's not why. It was... The ending of this book was stupid in a way that we haven't seen from the Animorphs series.
No, it does.
This is like what you would
and
expect.
I appreciated that.
This is what you expect from Wawa Wasby, not from Animorphs.
Yeah.
This book is like what you would expect from Animorphs if you didn't know anything about it and you just saw it in the library and like saw the covers.
That's exactly what this
I
book
think it's
was.
lesser than that.
It was so... Dude, this ending was... Let's talk about... Oh, hang on. One thing I was thinking we should do... Maybe we could do this after the summary. I had an idea where each episode, each of us tries to come up with a name that would be more suited for this book than the actual name.
I've kind of been doing that.
We haven't mentioned it.
Silly
I said that book 3 should be called the Call.
Oh yeah.
And I said that book, or I said that book 5 should be called the Encounter, and book 3 should be called the Predator.
Anyway, so we're gonna quick summarize the book in like hopefully less than 5 minutes, and then we're gonna talk about the book.
All right. Cassie is at school and she wants to get a rat to navigate a maze in order to like make up for a science project of some kind. But then the rat won't do the maze, so she wants to figure out how the rat can do the maze. So she and Rachel morph rats to try and figure it out. But then some idiots come in and there's like a silly antics scene and they get out and it doesn't matter. And then chapter 3, there's a meeting. Tobias reports that the Yeerks want to clear the forest to find the Animorphs. So Cassie and Marco turn into wolves to go check out the Yeerks while Jake and the others fly around to see the Yeerks. And they find the logging camp. And they're trying to figure out how they're going to get into this building, which has a force field around it, so they can't just, like, plow in there. Meanwhile, Cassie's dad has found a skunk on the side of the road, and he makes Cassie come and deal with it because he's afraid of skunks. And then Cassie sees that the skunk has been burned by a Dracon beam from last night when she and the other Animorphs went there and the Yeerks shot at them. So she feels really bad about that. So then the Animorphs come up with a plan to morph termites to get into the force field. Meanwhile, Cassie's dad says that the skunk has babies somewhere, and Cassie's really, really upset that skunk babies are dying somewhere. Meanwhile, so then later the Animorphs morph owls at night and fly to the camp, and Cassie looks for the babies and she thinks she finds them while as an owl, but she doesn't tell anybody about it. She just keeps doing the Animorph mission thing. So then Jake decides to run around and distract the callers while the others morph termites. They make it inside, but the termite bodies are really, really hard to control because the termite queen basically just controls all termites and they don't have any will of their own. So then Cassie is only able to escape from this by killing the termite to a queen. She falls a total freak out about how bad it was being a termite, but everyone demorphs and it's all fine, basically. But then Cassie cries in bed the next day about how nature is, like, really cruel.
Did you mention what the force field was?
It did.
Okay, all I remember...
Oh, they were able to get in as termites. They were able to get in to the first force field because they were small enough that they were able to, like, get under little things. Like, there were little holes in the force field at the dirt level, and they were able to get under those. So anyway, Cassie asks Tobias about the skunk babies, and he finds them, but he ate one of them, and then Cassie's kind of mad at him. But then she turns into the skunk. She has the skunk mom at her barn, and she turns into a skunk and cuddles them. She goes to the skunk babies as the skunk's mom and like cuddles them, and she almost gets trapped in Morph because she's just so into being a skunk mom. But the others show up and yell at her, but then for some reason they all decide to take turns taking care of the skunks by morphing into the skunk mom. This is what most of the book is about now. And then like freaking 3 chapters later, the Yeerks, it turns out, like, while they were skunking, the Yeerks are actually, like, still advancing the plot, so and the Yeerks are, like, starting to cut down the forest right now, so oops. And so then Cassie and Tobias fly over, and they see that the Yeerks are bringing, the Yeerks need to get these council members to vote to allow them to approve them cutting down the trees in the national forest. And there's this one dude named Farrand who's going to be the deciding vote. And the Yeerks are going to bring him to the camp and make him a controller. So Cassie and Tobias fly to the Yeerk camp right after finding out that the Yeerks are cutting down the trees. And they see that Farrand is there at the camp and also Visitor 3's there. So the Animorphs attack, but to try and free Farrand, but Cassie gets shot and she faints. When she wakes up, she's in a box, and she morphs into a skunk. And then she sprays the Yeerks, and then the Yeerks, so then they're outside, and Visitor 3's been sprayed by Cassie's skunk, and the Yeerks decide that they'll let Farrand go, and, like, take him to a hospital where I guess he will never say anything about this again to anybody else.
Don't think it's a dream.
Sure. And the Yeerks... Yeah, go outside.
See, cats aren't very intrusive.
Cats don't bark.
Cats don't do anything. That's why they're kind of lousy pets.
They're like plants. I like that.
They are like plants, yeah.
So
They're
anyway,
plants, but they move around and you can pet them.
Yeah,
they poop on the couch if you don't give them something else to poop on.
yeah, that's pretty lame.
That's a non-issue.
That's pretty
What
lame.
if they don't have something to poop on?
Give
So
them
you give them something to poop on.
Open up your mouth. Come on, it's not hard.
Alright, so...
Lay on the couch with your mouth open. It's not hard.
Gross. Is that the end of... Oh, no, you had more.
So then the
Nothing else
Yeerks...
happened.
No, I didn't
So
give
then
him
the
more.
Yeerks decide to let Farrand go, and and in exchange, the Animorphs will lay down on their couch and catch their cat poop.
No.
No, it's even worse. It's even more useless than that.
The Yeerks decide that they're just going to leave Farrand alone forever now and forget this entire operation in exchange for the Animorphs telling them how to get rid of the skunk smell. But then it turns out that the Animorphs, in the last chapter, it's revealed that the Animorphs told Visitor 3 to bathe in grape juice instead of tomato juice, and they all have a good laugh about how Visitor 3's fur is purple now, and his skunk still smells like a skunk.
He ordered like a huge truckload of grape juice.
Yeah, and the Yeerks are just spending all their resources on getting grape juice now, like truckloads and truckloads of it.
Man, why'd they lie? That was like a gentleman's agreement. They're like, yeah, you give me whatever his name is.
Visitor 3 is evil.
Huh?
Because Visitor 3 is evil.
Evil people deserve to be lied to. Next question.
Evil people deserve to have.
They deserve to have
their bodies turned an unnatural color.
Okay, a couple things about that. So I feel like they were laughing at his fur being purple suddenly, but wouldn't tomato juice make his fur purple too? Because it's red plus blue.
I don't know.
I don't think tomato juice really stains.
Yeah,
tomato sauce does.
That's true.
Just with my experience with eating tomatoes, the juice is more clear than red.
Do we want to start by talking about this ending, how stupid it is, or should we
let's just talk. We never talk about stuff in order.
Yeah, we always talk about the ending first because it's on our minds, so we should try to go to more order.
It doesn't matter. We can talk about whatever we want, baby.
Yeah. So what do you have to say about the ending?
Tomato juice doesn't get rid of skunk smell. That's a myth.
Yeah.
So this whole plot is stupid.
Oh, only because of that, though.
Grape juice would do it probably better than tomato juice would. The only thing tomato juice does is it smells really strong because it's tomato juice, and so you just don't smell the skunk spray because you smell tomato juice instead. It's not this magical thing that gets rid of the smell.
Alright.
So that was really dumb.
I mean, Curious George did the same thing. You didn't mind when he did it.
Yeah, but that's Curious George, though. That wasn't like a whole, like, oh no, we lied. Grape juice isn't gonna work. But it would work just the exact same way.
Guys, it was the 90s. They thought chocolate gave you acne back then.
I still think chocolate gives me acne.
You're wrong.
No, it's because it gives you sugar, and sugar makes you sweat, and then you get acne.
What?
What?
I'm just putting that on my pot. I don't know.
Okay. I thought you were being serious there.
I mean that's
what I believe.
That makes sense to me.
So sugar gives you energy, which makes you run around, which makes you sweat.
Sugar just comes out of your body. It's sweat.
Sugar creates toxins in your body.
I don't want to keep this part in the podcast because I don't want to be spreading potential misinformation.
Sugar.
The toxins in your body, like
it gives you toxins, and they leak out of your body, sweat, and gives you acne.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this book was.
So much of this book felt like filler, like even more than usual. Like
yeah,
they have
this entire. I think this is the first book that could be classified like the whole book as filler.
Don't they have like 3 meetings in this one? The meeting chapters are filler. They meet so much in this book.
It's true.
And then Cassie goes on a skunk adventure with her dad that goes nowhere.
Well, no, it does. It leads the skunk adventure is what leads them to be able to solve the problem.
I liked quite a few parts of this book.
In chapter 4 where they turn into wolves, they spend like the whole chapter saying, "Wow, wolves sure are cool, aren't they?" Margaret says, "Yeah, wolves
man,
are cool.
I don't even remember the part where they turn into wolves. It was so not
They spent so long just talking about, oh look, whoa, look how you're good at morphing. Oh my gosh, these braids just have its own idea about morphing. Man, look at these wolves. Wow, hello. Yeah, I'm a big wolf. I smell big raccoons. Cool, way cool. Wolves like to run." Those are actual quotes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we have like nothing to talk about.
Oh, hey, I do something that I wanted to say slightly earlier, but I'll just say it now.
Yeah, go ahead.
About this book, when I said I read 75% of one book, earlier, that wasn't just a random number. Like, I actually read part of this book before starting on this podcast adventure to read the
when was it?
Oh, I think I cut that out.
No, you didn't.
When-
What? I
when-
didn't
No, you
think
didn't.
so.
When did you read this?
I think
Wait.
I was like 14.
So this was the first Animorphs book you read?
Yes, it was.
It's like the worst one.
And I remember so far, and I remember being like, okay. So
Like,
I think that's
wait,
why I was
what?
just so surprised by like how good the second book and the third book were, because like that's not what this book led me to believe that the Animorphs.
This book is like exactly what you'd expect.
This
for
book's like
picking up the
a
Animorphs.
cartoon for like 5-year-olds.
Yeah, and
book's
it was
worse
just
than
like
that.
whatever, and I was like, why do people love Animorphs so much? It's just like this book thing. But then like I met Be Natural, and then she's like, no, Animorphs is great. So then I was like, okay, I guess Animorphs is great.
This book isn't ghostwritten, is it? The characters seem to be
No.
doing stuff they don't usually do.
Nothing's ghostwritten until
Jake,
like
like,
halfway
raises
through
one
the
No,
series.
the
eyebrow.
book, I think the
suddenly-
first book to be ghost written is like 25 or something.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get the impression that this book
Well,
was ghostwritten.
it seems like it's
This
just
book was
not
so
right.
much just like a bad children's book, and what I would expect Animorphs to be before
Yes.
hearing about it. I
You
didn't
said
hate
that
it.
before like 3 times. Mustard.
Yeah.
But we need a really good soundbite, so Mustard can include one of them in the. Well, Mustard's
no.
gonna have a supercut of everyone saying this is exactly what I expected Animorphs to be.
I don't know. I'm heck. You know, while you guys are talking, I'm like reading notes sometimes, so I don't always hear everything that's.
half
Makes
his
sense.
notes is just this is exactly what I expect. This is
No,
wow.
I
This is what
don't think that's
expect
even
too.
in my notes. I guess we'll start talking about the first scene.
Okay, chapter
First scene,
3.
okay.
Jake and I are kind of, we like each other.
They said that again.
I
Yeah.
like.
Cassie has to explain that she likes
just
Jake.
sucks.
That was like the exact same wording from like book 4.
Yeah.
Cassie's other book, which also was like the worst book up until that point.
No, I didn't hate it as much. I like book 4 more than Megamorphs, but.
Alright, so the thing is, wait, so Megamorphs has been your least favorite? So
This was definitely my least favorite.
I mean, before this one.
You're gonna hate me, Batter, but up until now, my least favorite was book 3. But I still liked it.
That seems
That's a big
valid.
oof.
I think I gave 3 of
That's a
them
big
mez.
But anyway,
Yeah, I gave 3 a Met, but this book is definitely my least favorite now.
Least
actually, that
favorite.
makes a lot of sense. But like,
Book
okay,
three's-
I was throughout most of this book, I was thinking about giving it a meh, but then at the end, I was like, because I felt bad because I already gave the other Cassie book a
Thumbs
thumbs
down.
down. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, people might think I'm biased towards all the
Racist.
Cassie books.
You want to talk about Cassie turning into a rat?
She's like, people hate Vegetables the Tales. And I'm like, no, they hate them because of the plague. I put that in a note.
Yeah. Okay, so Cassie needs this rat she has to do this maze thing, when she goes through the maze and there's like nuts at the end of the maze, and the rat isn't going through the maze. So then she's like, "Hey, Rachel, let's both morph into rats at the same time."
Both of us.
It was really dumb because I think it was Rachel was like, "Hey, Cassie, how did we morph into rats?" And someone was like, "Oh, it's a dumb idea." It's like, "I'll do it if we both do it." It's like, why? Why is it better if you both do it? That's like the worst possible idea.
And then Rachel doesn't even do anything. She just stands outside. She's like, "I'll keep watch while you do
As a rat, dude, why wouldn't you keep watching the human? That was stupid. So then the rats, they're like, "Oh, I don't smell anything. What this rat? I wonder what's wrong." And they figure out that this fan is blowing the smell away. I don't think that's how smell works. I could be wrong.
It could be.
That seemed kind of weird, but I don't know enough about how.
All right, can I bring up these people are just way too eager to morph. You could have figured this out by just moving the maze to a different location, which is what any other person on the planet would have done.
No, I need
in that situation.
I need us both to morph into rats. Yeah, that.
Morph into rats.
Morph into rats. And then these two punks just come in and it's like, "Oh, let's play with the rats." And they just like hit them with broomsticks. And then, do they just unmorph? What happens then?
No, they just crawl up his pants and they run away, which is what I would do.
Yeah, and then they lose the original red that was supposed to go through the
yeah,
that was the part that made me the most angry.
She's just like, "Oh yeah, the rat just like lives in the walls now or something."
Yeah, no big deal.
This shouldn't grow giant. It shouldn't be legendary.
Why did they think it was going to need a both morph into rats? It makes no sense.
It's because
otherwise
Applegate needed to manufacture tension.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so dumb. Why can't we have like a chill beginning of a book for once?
Yeah,
I mean, okay. When
it
was chill, when the beginning was chill and they were just flying, everyone whined about it except me. I was like, I liked them flying.
Nobody whined about that except me.
Oh, you liked it too?
I thought it was boring.
No,
okay,
I'm the only one who whined. Oh, okay.
I don't like reading about people flying around and being happy. That's dumb.
I like that.
I like
that you're whining now when it's exciting.
I wanted to be funny, like Axe eating popcorn.
I didn't think that was funny. I'm sorry. I wasn't entertained by Axe eating popcorn.
Because that doesn't seem that dangerous. He's just a human morphed as human. He's not gonna get eaten by like a cat or something.
Yeah, but I can eat popcorn off the floor. It's not gonna be any funnier. I guess it will. You're laughing. My first notes about this cover. The cover's like, it looks backwards. Like all the others, like it's like the person's like facing towards the morph, like they're morphing as they're running. But this one, the wolf is like backing up, like backing into the morph, like by the way it looks.
Good.
Yeah, that's true. Because Cassie's so good at morphing, she can morph.
She morphs backwards.
She can morph while walking backwards. Cassie can morph while patting her head and rubbing her tummy.
Oh, that reminded me. I just edited the book 4 episode, so it's on my mind. Which was the last Cassie episode, it's appropriate. It mentioned that in that episode they got a message, like from the dreams or something, and it said that Tobias got only Tobias and Cassie got these dreams, and it explained that as Tobias is stuck in morph. And Cassie is the best morpher, and that seems weird that that's how it works. Now knowing that, like, I feel like if the Andalite was giving a message, why would it be only sent to the Andalites who's best at morphing?
Because they're the closest to the Andalites.
But they're not though, because like, we find out that Andalites like being good at morphing isn't a thing. It's like.
Did it take you like another 5 books to realize that the message is BS?
Yeah, because like being good at morphing is like the equivalent of being good at drawing for a human. It's just like
it means nothing.
Thing it means nothing. And then being stuck in morph, it's like
no. Cassie turns into her furry OC for this book, and she says like my brain just kind of knew what to do.
No, I'm just saying like for Andalites, being good at morphing is not unique to Andalites, and like being stuck in morph, how does that make you closer to Andalite? It makes you further.
Listen, I can explain.
So that just doesn't make sense. That's what the message gives.
The well did it. It's focused on the wells. It was closest to wells.
What's the explanation for that? Because like those words for those 2 things, it's like, oh yeah, someone's good at morphing. Blah, blah, blah,
okay, Andalite technology.
Blah, blah, blah.
The Andalites use telepathy to talk.
Yeah.
So whatever technology Axe was using to like broadcast his telepathy outward could only be heard by others who use telepathy, those being Andalites, such as Wizard 3 and Tobias.
I get that, yeah.
Because he isn't in morph.
But Cassie wasn't morphed in her
But
sleep.
Cassie is such a good morpher that she just has latent telepathy powers in her brain.
No, but only when she's unconscious.
That's not true though.
Well, it worked.
Being good at morphing is not like a thing all andalites do. It's just like she's an artistic morpher.
It's not because
You didn't choose to send it to those two people.
It doesn't make her. It's not because it's not because being good at morphing makes her closer to andalites. It's just because it makes her like more in tune with this telepathy technology. I'm just making this up, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is this your headcanon then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes enough sense.
We did get some lore in this book.
at least it wasn't like explained and the explanation made no sense. Like they just never like they were like, okay, fine. Like we don't really know how it worked.
Okay,
maybe you just picked Cassie because maybe you just could pick Cassie and Tobias.
Well, they just picked Cassie because Cassie was the
Maybe just pick Cassie and Tobias because they had
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they just picked Cassie and Tobias because they have S's in their name. Like who knows?
Now you mentioned that this cover seems to not really fit in with the other ones in the way that it looks backwards.
Well, yeah, the rest of them are either going like out of the page or like into the
now a while ago, I don't think we've brought this up on the podcast yet, but I found an interview with the guy who did most of the covers, and he explains like why Tobias has brown hair and why they wear clothes sometimes. Basically just because it's more aesthetically pleasing. Wow.
What does he have against blonde people?
Oh no, just because they had a blonde. The kid for the model wasn't blonde.
Yeah, but the clothes is just aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. This cover was the first 2 books, and this cover were the only ones from like the first 9 books that weren't done by that same guy.
Oh really?
So the person who did like the last 8 books didn't do this one.
Because I was just gonna say this cover looks terrible.
Yeah, and the first 2 covers look pretty bad too.
No. Like I like the second one a lot.
The second one looks
okay,
good.
the first one looks bad.
First one looks bad.
Which one's the second one?
They look.
The cat.
The first one looks.
cat looks decent.
The first one looks bad in a totally different way than this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cat one looks kind of backwards too. Is that going backwards?
But but at least the cat's facing that way.
Yeah. But yeah, like books 3 through 8 were all done by that one guy.
Look, the Tobias one is he's jumping into his eagle form, and same with this dolphin, and the gorilla is like going down to the gorilla form, and then this wolf's like backing up its butt. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like the bear, she's like, "Rah!"
I hate how this morphing. I hate how this morphing sequence looks. Like I
like the second picture though.
Yeah, the second. What is it? The second picture.
I like the third one. Just like this weird like.
The second one looks like her but older.
I don't like it. I mean, I don't like how she morphs seamlessly from like a freaking sitting position to a standing wolf position.
Yeah,
Like,
she's sitting like cross-legged, and that transforms to her like just sitting like a wolf.
Her leg in the third picture is.
It's a little tiny leg that turns into a different leg.
I can't even tell what's going on in these pictures.
Yeah, it makes no
That's
sense.
why I like the third one because it's like Wolfman
Holy
but
crap!
bad.
You can see like the plaid.
Yeah, it like makes no sense.
The plaid just fades away.
Just fades out.
I hate that's the problem with a lot of these books and their clothing, but like
Now,
it's particularly bad here.
My favorite cover by far is book 3. I think book 3 looks really good.
Yeah, that's why it's the best book.
Like even though his jacket, I think it looks really good.
Yeah, because the jacket like turns into the wing because it's like the creases like look interesting.
Yeah.
This doesn't.
There's no reason for this plaid to turn into fur. It like doesn't look good.
Another thing I noticed about this cover is that it's one of the books that has the face cut out, so that when you open the page, you can see it on the inside.
Oh, it's too bad these PDFs don't have the inside covers.
Oh, is that why it looks good? Or is that what I was wondering if that
they all have those.
If that line around the face like
the line around the face is so if you open up the cover, there would just be a hole where that line is, and then on the inside it would be the same exact picture.
But like the wolf would be standing on a background.
Yeah.
So hang on, why was this the first book you read? Did you see the wolf and think it looked cool?
Yeah, I just saw it looked cool.
Well, I mean, you don't really choose Animorphs. They just have like 20 in your face. So you just
this book is like the 9th book. I feel like the library just didn't have the first 8.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's totally okay for them to summarize each book at the beginning because libraries don't have all the books.
Well, are they numbered on the front?
True. I didn't think about that.
No, they're numbered on the side.
They're numbered on the side.
And on the inside. Man, I'm too bad the PDF doesn't have the inside covers because that would be interesting to talk about sometimes, I guess.
Oh, when we get an actual book and you stop just printing out
the inside cover of the first book with the lizard in the shoe, I thought that was really fun looking.
Yeah, those are made by the same guy who does the most of the covers too. He makes those like things.
Those are cool.
Yeah, they're like computer art looking things, but
now I want to know what the Vietnamese version of this cover looks like.
Probably really good.
I don't know how many books the Vietnamese cover person.
Okay, book. We got some cool lore about Jake. The most interesting part of this book. Jake can raise one eyebrow and just crocodile broad people. Yeah,
Wow.
he raises one eyebrow at Cassie.
Is that a big deal?
That's a big
That's
deal.
a big deal.
That's not a
The
big
biggest
deal.
deal in this book.
No, I like that.
No.
I like that Jake thinks that Cassie's dad is funny.
That's cute.
That's like we learned that because in the last book, Axe was morphed as Jake, and Axe like kind of interacted with Cassie's dad a little
Do you
bit.
guys not think raising one eyebrow is like a crazy thing that only like some people can you all do it?
Like that?
I can lower one eyebrow.
I can't do that.
I can't just raise it.
You
But
can't,
if I
you
lower
can't
the
like
one, I
make
can
a
do it.
quizzical expression.
No, I can't. But Jake's like the protagonist.
Kind of
so
gives
he
me a
can.
headache to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do like. Okay, that's not crazy though.
It is to
Most
me.
people I know can do that.
Anyway, they morph Vance for no reason.
I like this quote from Rachel. She says, "Okay, that makes absolutely no sense, but I'll do it anyway. Let's just get it over with."
That's this whole book.
Rachel
And
is really weird in this book.
And I wrote, "You're right, Rachel. That does make no sense."
Yeah, because there's a part
But
where
we'll
Rachel
do it anyway.
Where Rachel hugs Cassie, and it's like really awkward because Rachel doesn't like hugging people. I'm
I like
like,
that
since
part.
when?
And
I liked that part.
And Cassie's covered in termites at that point, so I don't know why she'd want to hug her.
Well,
Well, it's because Cassie needed to be comforted.
I like
Because
that
she's
part.
freaking
I
out.
saw that part as like, well, Rachel's a good friend.
Well, I was like, why is she not like
I
covered
was
in
just
termites
confused on
right
why
now?
she just wasn't like. I didn't seem like Rachel wasn't a huggy person before.
I guess-
Rachel's hold on.
Maybe-
Rachel's
okay,
always
Cassie-
like leaning on Cassie. Yeah? Like in this book, Rachel like has her arms around Cassie at one point just for no reason. That's just what she does. So why would she not be huggy?
Yeah, Rachel had her arms around Cassie when they were hiding behind.
Maybe
a tree.
Rachel's just not very huggy by Cassie's standards, because Cassie hugs skunks.
I
Yeah,
guess.
Okay.
Cassie says that she's been more animals than a lot of kids have
That's
seen.
BS.
Which how many
Have no
animals has she been?
Have no kids went to the zoo.
So hang on. First of all, can I say okay? So it says I've been more animals than a lot of kids have seen, and then first of all, that's BS. Kids have seen a lot of animals. I doubt that she's been like 100 animals.
Yeah.
Well,
And then later in the book, the audacity of Cavalgate, Cassie says, I've been more animals than a lot of people see in their lifetime.
That's crazy, dude.
So she says
Where
the
you
same
gonna
thing
live if
twice.
You don't see the
She says the same thing twice, but the second one's just more ridiculous.
And we've been keeping track of every morph they have, and they don't like sneak morphs in these books. They always say like morphing, like I mean, acquiring an animal is a big deal in this series. So how?
Yeah.
we've kept track. How many morphs does she have?
I think
16.
Applegate doesn't pull the thing
16?
where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, they acquired more animals at the zoo, and that's why you weren't there when they acquired such and such animal.
No, yeah,
She
they-
doesn't pull
Cassie
BS
acquired
like that.
hundreds of animals off screen at the
So
zoo.
I'm assuming that they didn't really.
And
do
also
that, they
turned
just
into
had
them.
the elephant or whatever.
So Cavalgate thinks that, or at least Cassie thinks that the average adult person has seen fewer than 16 animals. In
I
his
have
entire
been
life.
more
Ridiculous.
animals than many people ever see
Ever
in a
seen in their
lifetime.
whole
lifetime.
lifetime.
I mean, even you two
So-
have seen more animals than that. And you guys like live indoors playing Mario.
80-year-old people
Yeah.
sitting on their deathbed have seen fewer than 16 animals.
I mean, I think it's possible. She lives in a zoo, maybe, I mean, she like lives
She
near a
says
zoo.
most people
She-
see
she-
in her life.
yeah, I know, but-
I can,
but
I
may-
can
maybe
see a
that-
few people not seeing 16
Yeah,
animals in their
most
lifetime.
people,
But
many
most
people. Many people ever see in a lifetime.
Most people who went to jail for their entire lives.
But maybe in between books, she like
No, they
acquires like
didn't.
every
That's
single
wrong.
animal in the
they
zoo.
only use the morphs that they've shown in a book. They never like say, "Oh, by the way, I acquired this." No, they.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
So far,
They're very consistent with the morphs that they have and don't have.
That was ridiculous when you
So
said that.
stupid.
She said it
I'm
twice.
glad you guys feel so strongly about this that I did, because I was not expecting you guys to care. But I'm glad that you do.
This is the first time we all think it sucks.
I can't believe she said it twice, and then the second time she
Usually-
doubled down and said, no, not just kids. People in their lifetime haven't seen as many animals as I've been. It's crazy.
I can see by like book 60 her saying that, but
Yeah.
in book 9, really, Cassie?
Maybe this book takes place like way in the future. It doesn't matter. Nothing happens in this book.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
could be anywhere in the
This
series.
book could take place anytime.
What do you guys think of the part where Rachel's dad is like, "No, I don't want to touch Strong. He spayed me in the face."
You mean Cassie's dad?
I thought that was
What'd
so
I say?
stupid.
Whose dad did I say?
Cassie. You said Rachel.
Oh my, really, man? Just this narrator has no character.
It's true, she doesn't.
It's true.
I mean, her character
It's
is
sad.
just annoying. Her character is just, I am annoying.
All she does in this book is whine
Yes!
about how she doesn't want to be an ant or a termite.
Yeah!
That's this book.
Do you
I
think
mean-
that this character is like a straw man for environmentalists?
No, Applegate doesn't hate environmentalists at all.
Applegate is an environmentalist.
She just is not good at.
She's just not good at making
media.
characters that are environmentalists.
I know. Cassie's like, there's people. Okay, I love the. Cassie, like, it comes across like Cassie is more upset than she's ever been in her entire life when she finds out that there are baby skunks somewhere that are going to die.
Dude, actually,
like, more upset than the entire alien invasion and people that she's personally killed with her horse teeth.
There's a part I really liked. Where she was telling Tobias about the skunks, and Tobias was like, "Oh yeah, I know those babies. Oh, some baby skunks. Yeah, I know they are."
Part of the whole
and then she's like, "Oh, what? Are they all alive?" And he was like, "There's 4 of them are left." So like Tobias just like ate one of these baby
That
skunks.
was she gets really mad at him.
I love Tobias.
I love that part. I was like, "Yeah,
Tobias is. I like him so much more than human Tobias. I'm sorry.
Yeah, why don't you just have Tobias? Why did they have to spend most of this, like, freaking most of the third act of this book was just them becoming mother skunks to take care of these babies? Like, why not just give them to Tobias? Then he doesn't have to kill other animals for a few days.
At that point,
Yeah.
I like when the Yerks came after that, I was like, there's Yerks in this book? I forgot the Yerk plot. Who's this? Who's this? What's his name? Who's that guy? I don't care about him.
This detour of this skunk thing.
I thought this was a book about skunks. That's right, the lumber company, whatever.
This is a book about skunks. It's thematically about skunks because skunks, I mean, it starts off and the characters have their problems and then the skunks come in and Cassie, the narrator, finds her calling in the skunk. Then she becomes the skunk and learns about how great it is to be a skunk and how great it is to raise a skunk family.
Oh, and before
and then everyone of her friends get in on that and they discover like the life of the skunk and how wonderful it is. And then the climax comes along and the skunk is what saves them. So this book is about skunks. This book should have been called The Skunk.
And at one point, she literally becomes a skunk goddess.
Wait, what?
What?
She. Okay, the guy's like, "Oh, yes, a skunk goddess came to me in the middle of the night."
Oh, that was so
What?
weird.
Wait, what?
He claimed that he had been visited by the spirit of a giant skunk with the eyes of a human girl.
Who's he? What?
Farrand, whatever his name is.
Oh, okay.
So she like turns into a skunk goddess and stares this guy and says, "Yo, yeah, we hate you, X."
I don't remember that, man.
But check out the end. No one cares at that.
Before Cassie decides that she wants to
I
raise these
remember
baby
that
skunks
part.
as a mom, she like has a
Yeah.
dream where she's a mom and she cuddles with like her children, and then like the same thing happens, but when she's a skunk in real life.
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
There's a part where like before she decides that she wants to nurture these skunks back to health or whatever, she like has a dream where she's like a mom and she like cuddles with her children. And then she wakes up and she's like, "I gotta go take care of the skunks," and she like cuddles with the skunk babies as a skunk.
I've noticed that Applegate has been pulling the dream BS a lot in these little books.
Cassie dreams of her future, and that's another thing. Cassie dreams of her future as a skunk mom. She
Cassie's
doesn't dream about her
prophetic.
future of defeating the Yerks. Notice.
Yeah.
She dreams about her future as a skunk mom because that's what's important for Cassie's character arc.
No, this is where the
It is.
This
It
is
makes
where
me so angry.
this is where the well book like gets on my nerves. In this book, Cassie turns into a skunk, falls asleep, and almost like it's only because of Jake that she doesn't get stuck in morph.
She like
But in another book, she went to play with dolphins. Who, by the way, when they were dolphins, they almost got stuck in morph just because the dolphins were so carefree they didn't care. Tobias like saved them from getting stuck in dolphin morph while they were like on a mission, and then Cassie by herself plays with dolphins somehow in the middle of the night. Somehow doesn't get stuck in morph.
I'm glad that this book has been like a come to Jesus moment for you guys and how awful the message is
Awful the
and why I
message is.
downloaded
no, I
it.
think it's fine.
I think the
I mean,
dream thing
especially
in the
after reading
message.
this book.
In the message, the message was the first book that had like dream BS,
And
but it made
Axe-
sense in
Axe
that
saves
book.
the message.
Axe saves the message.
It was relevant to the plot.
Yeah, the dream BS made sense because it was like part of the plot, and like it wasn't actually dreams. It was like telekinetic messages from Axe.
Yeah.
And people just keep having weird dreams. I mean, they have dreams like they have nightmares where they morph certain things, but now they're just having like dreams that like predict the future, kind of, but not
Skunk-
really.
the
It was
Future
fine
skunks.
with Jake. The Jake's was the only dream that made sense. The rest of them were like, okay,
Oh,
you're
man. I love
stretching
the
it
capture.
down.
I love the dream thing in the capture.
Book 6 is great.
I usually hate dream things, but the dream thing in the
Okay,
capture
that's because
makes
in the
sense.
capture, Jake wasn't necessarily dreaming about the future. He was dreaming about his own
It was a-
personal problems.
it was a
Yeah.
metaphor.
stemming from stuff that happened in the
Cassie
past.
just literally dreams. This isn't a metaphor at all. Cassie just literally dreams about cuddling babies, and then she does it in the next chapter.
Yeah.
Book 6
so
is great,
weird.
guys. I should read book 6 again.
So okay, when Cassie's dad got spayed by a skunk, I was like, come on.
I keep hearing you saying getting spayed by a skunk. That's pretty violent.
When Cassie's dad gets sprayed by a skunk, he's like, no, I don't want to touch skunks. And at first I was thinking, come on, don't Don't be a wimp about it.
Don't
Just
skunk
pick your
shame.
skunks. But then I looked it up. Okay, so I looked up at this skunk website and said that if they spray you in the face, it's acid and it burns your face and you can get sick and
Okay.
Yes. I've had dogs come in the house reeking of skunk, and the whole house. It's like our eyes were literally burning just from the dog who had been.
Why
sprayed.
didn't Applegate write this in the book? This
Yeah.
would have made
She
more
just
sense.
wrote-
Other than
All they say is
basically
it
a
smells
glorified
bad.
fart joke where they're like, "Oh, it smells so bad."
It's just
I guess I
stinky
just kind of inserted that in there on my own because I have experience with that. But then I talked to you guys, and you guys were like, "What is it? Why doesn't sound that bad?" Like my dogs have come in the house, and after they've been sprayed by a skunk, and everyone's eyes were burning everywhere in the house. No matter where you went, your eyes would burn, and we couldn't breathe. Basically, we had to put the dogs outside, and even a week later, I was supposed to get on a plane and go somewhere, and I didn't want to get on the plane because I still smelled like skunk. And I didn't want to get on the plane and sit next to somebody. So, yeah, it's very bad if you get sprayed in the face.
And everyone knows if you get on a plane and you smell like skunk, then the smell will just never go away, right?
What'd you say?
Everyone knows that if you get on a plane or
Yes.
other type of aircraft with the skunk smell, the smell will never
Yeah.
go away.
Yeah, that's part of this plot.
The skunk is... Okay, skunk smells bad, but it's not bad enough to take down alien warlords. Applegate is like, if aliens ever invade, I've got the solution, you guys. Skunks!
And if they don't get tomato juice, they're never gonna smell better. Tomato juice is the cure.
If they get grape juice.
This is just propaganda for Applegate's tomato juice industry. This is going to start after she finishes its series.
I was thinking, I wonder, if this wouldn't have been good, I think, but, it would have been, more interesting if, at the beginning, they find out that, the fan was blowing away the smell, and then, later, it's oh, yeah, we used the fan to blow away the skunk smell towards Visit
That
3.
would have been thematically better.
Or Divisor 3.
The first part would have made more sense.
The first, okay,
It would have been
so
dumb,
much
but it would have,
is just
at least been
not
connected
connected at all.
somehow.
the first parts of these books are never connected, though. You could, swap out the first parts of most of these books.
No. The one where they fly was.
That's
they
it.
Fly.
That's, the only one.
Yep.
But how was that one connected?
It's not really
So they fly later in the book.
They do that in most books.
They walk at the beginning of this book, and they're walking later in the book.
They're humans.
This is thematic. This is how you do themes in books, guys.
You start with the walking, you end with the walking.
I'm gonna go pee.
Okay.
Okay.
guys
Cassie
keep talking.
refers to Axe as a strikingly handsome boy.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, a pretty girl. I don't know.
She says he's
You're
also
also
weirdly
kind of
pretty, I
pretty.
think. I'm trying to find where he says
I have a
he's
quote
pretty.
that I just thought was dumb writing. Faster, faster, as fast as we could go. Which, happily, turned out to be fairly fast.
It's actually in the book?
Yes.
Where is that?
That's an exact quote from the book.
Oh, I highlighted a bunch of quotes that I thought were dumb.
I like Marco in this book.
Marco was great in this book.
So is Tobias.
So is Tobias.
I'm
He
on
wasn't really
I'm only on my second note. We haven't talked about the book at all yet.
Tobias is always good. Tobias is good in this book because he eats one of the skunks. He says Cassie has this entire skunk quest, and Tobias just goes screw your skunk quest, Cassie, inadvertently. By saying you know what's more important than your freaking skunk quest? My ability to eat so I can fight the alien invaders that are going to destroy all life on Earth.
I just love the way it's revealed. He says, yeah, I know who the skunks are. Yeah, there's 4 of them, right?
I love Tobias.
Tobias is great.
Also, Axe drinks engine oil. I don't know how
Yeah,
he
I
has
wrote
I'm
that
it.
down.
sure he would not survive that.
I like
Okay,
that.
well, we've never, the book never gets into what happens to stuff you eat in Morph. For instance, Visser 3 ate Prince Elfangor. Is Prince Elfangor just inside Visser 3 now? So maybe
He's still there.
So maybe Axe drinking engine oil.
When
He
you
still lives on
morph into a
inside
big
me.
when you morph into a big thing and you morph back down to that thing, size the things you eat scale down. So Hellfinger is still alive
There's a
inside
baby
Visser's through
Hellfinger.
stomach, but he's 2
Little
inches
baby
tall.
Elfangor.
They have to rescue him in one of the books. He's gonna be a little tiny
Got
baby
going
Andalite.
It got turned into little fleas that go inside Visser 3. They turn the microbiome to go in Visser 3's stomach.
Oh yeah, that reminds me of a question I have. So can they morph germs and bacteria?
Can they acquire germs?
How would they acquire those?
You just touch them.
You just hold
But
your
you
hand
have
in the air and
you
then
hold your
think
hand,
about
you
it.
You have to
focus
concentrate
on
on
the
it.
germ.
You have to when you're acquiring something, you have to
You have to
concentrate
concentrate on it. Shape.
on a specific.
They could look
thing
up
that
a
you're looking
picture
at.
on the internet of a germ and then just think about it.
No,
Even
but
a
you have to
microscope.
concentrate
They
on
have
what's
a
looking
school,
at.
they have
though.
microscopes.
Maybe
That's
you have to touch it. I don't know.
They
could
pick
pick
up
up one that's naturally in the human biome. Because then they'd always be touching it.
That's like, yeah.
That'd be really scary to...
One thing...
I don't think they'd want to morph into...
That reminds me...
if they're going to be so racist against ants and other arthropods, then
they
definitely would not enjoy being
they only hate hive minds. They just hate hive minds.
In this book, book's mentioned that you can't wear...
They only like flies because they can fly. Otherwise, they're like, yeah, flies are the most disgusting thing on the planet.
What? Oh.
You can't... We find out in this book that you can't morph, or you can't acquire...
fleas.
Huh?
They like flies and fleas.
They don't like hive minds, that's it. They don't like
They like flies and fleas, because those aren't hive minds.
Yeah.
I like the hive. The hive mind part's always my favorite part.
Yeah,
I think the only reason I didn't give this book a thumbs down was because the termite part was cool.
Yeah. The termite
part was cool, but they were still very racist against them.
Because they don't want to be in a hive mind, that's it. That's not racist.
Works. What do you mean racist?
You know, the tick race, or what is it, termites?
Termite race.
We were talking about ticks today.
Anyway,
termites demand equality.
My guess is
negative stereotypes about termites being a hive mind and being controlled by a queen who lays pulsating eggs while the termites carry it around and eat her shit. So this is not true.
So the ants were more individualistic than the termites, though, because they had their purpose in life, but their purpose in life was to serve the queen. The queen is literally controlling the termites in this one.
What is that noise
So
outside?
why did Capelgate write these two species differently, and like what is that based on?
Because with the ants they weren't next to the queen.
Oh.
In this they were like really close to the queen the whole
because
time.
they're like hearing her call.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did like how they described we heard a faint voice calling us in the background.
This was why I didn't give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I agree. The termite part, I think. That's why I almost give it a thumbs up, because the termite part, that was cool, but then the ending was really dumb. And,
I feel bad now because I like the termite part too, but it definitely wasn't enough to save it from being a thumbs down.
Well,
that's okay. That's very fair.
This book's ending was silly. This is the first silly ending.
It had a better ending.
It wasn't infuriatingly dumb and not make sense. It was just really silly and goofy.
But it wasn't a good silly. It wasn't
also infuriating.
It ends with a scene of Visit 3 bathing in grape juice. It's I gotta get this stinky smell off me.
My question is, why does Visit 3 have no other way to find out?
I know!
About Earth?
They're like, Animorphs, I just got sprayed with this stuff. I have to find out how to get rid of this smell immediately, and I will do literally anything for you.
What if his controller says, sir, I think I know how to...
Yeah,
and then he puts the thing to his neck and says, shut up, I'm talking.
I'm sure these 5 Andalites will know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Shut up, human.
my theory is that Axe drank the engine oil, and then he was human, and then he morphed into an Andalite before his body processed it and killed him from drinking engine oil.
Well, then what happened? Didn't the engine oil kill his Andalite body then?
My assumption is that when you eat food and then transfer out, it goes away, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess otherwise, I mean, I want to stick to my tiny Elfangor hopes. He'll ride.
Maybe Andalites can process engine oil.
He'll ride around in their pockets. He'll get one of those little tiny purses that you put dogs in, and they'll put him in there.
Aww.
Yeah.
There was a line that I wrote down where Cassie describes humans as the morons of smell.
Okay, that phrase has been stuck in my head ever since I read this book when I was 13.
Really? Yeah.
I just it randomly pops in my head. Humans are the morons of smell.
Huh.
For some reason that phrase just made a big impact.
I barely even remembered it from this time.
I was like morons of smell would be a good title for this book.
The Morons of Smell.
Yeah.
That would be a great title.
Because the book's all about
That is amazing.
It's all about smelly skunks and stuff.
I wish Applegate would have put
definitely name this episode "The Morons of Smell."
The Morons of Smell or the Morons of Smell?
The Morons of Smell.
Yeah, because the Animorphs are the Morons of Smell, because they're morons in this book.
Yeah, they are.
Because they're morons. And so is Visser 3,
well,
he's a moron.
Yeah, Visser 3 is more of a moron. All the Yeerks are more of a moron than the Animorphs are. The Animorphs, the Animorphs do the whole skunk thing. Okay, did anyone else feel like when the Animorphs were like, alright, we're dropping all our plans and we're gonna be taking care of these baby skunks now, because that's why we were given this power? Dude, did anyone else feel that was just because Jake likes Cassie for whatever reason he likes Cassie, and he's like, I'm gonna impress her by making my entire team.
Yeah, this book starts out by Jake is so mad at Cassie in this book for being
He's not even that mad
into a rat.
No, he's not. He's like he like pretends not to be mad, and like Cassie's like, but I could tell he didn't like it, but he didn't like say anything to her, and he kind of just like laughed it off, kind of.
Well, later a vein on his head, a vein on his forehead bulges out when he's so angry.
Well, that's later.
Well, he's mad. Okay,
that's because he almost lost his girlfriend, and then he'd have to have sex with a skunk, and he didn't want that. That's why he was angry.
Skunk sex.
He couldn't care less if Cassie was out doing rat escapades, as long as she had plenty of time to turn back into her normal
I was gonna say,
self.
do you think Jake would be more okay with it if they were both rats instead of both skunks?
Wait, what? Jake would be more what?
More into it if it was 2 rats instead of 2 skunks.
Having sex.
I don't think it would matter.
Oh, okay.
By the way, do we mention that she fell asleep?
She
as
fell
the skunk,
asleep.
like cuddling these
Cuddling
skunk
with baby
babies.
skunks. I thought it was kind of cute and wholesome.
Yeah, I didn't hate that part.
I think it's better than the dolphin part. That part just makes no sense to she out of their life.
Yeah,
No one else.
one thing I was
there.
wondering, because everyone saved her in this scene. One thing I was wondering, I was wondering if Cassie being the best morpher is like part of the reason, because she's like there's 2 different times where she was the closest to getting stuck in morph. And I was wondering if like her being the best at morphing is related to that. Probably not, but
I mean, she
She
just
could be
like
like-
morphing.
She could be
It's
like
just she plays
addicted
around
to
with
it,
too
kind
much.
of.
yeah, like she's the only one who's like specifically like just playing around with it a lot.
Yeah, that's true, because like, man, what a bitch. She's like such.
That's exactly
She
what
goes
I was
on about
thinking
like
of.
morals and all that, and how like, oh, we can't do this and that because that's not morally right. We gotta save the freaking skunks. But then she turns into a horse and runs around in the field, making her vulnerable to someone finding out about the whole Animorphs thing. When Jake tells everyone not to do that, and she knows that, but she's like, I just love being a horse too much.
And she lies to Jake about it.
Yeah.
But another thing is, in the message, her problem is, I don't know if I should morph dolphins. Her solution, I'll morph a dolphin and ask them.
Man.
There hasn't
I
been
wish
like.
that was-
But Cassie, that was my one prevailing thought, is just that Cassie is a bitch.
And also, she kills it. And she's like, oh, it was morally wrong of me to kill a termite queen.
I mean, that part did shock me.
I'd kill a termite queen. I'd kill a termite if it was on my if it was just on my knee. I'm not gonna, of course I'm gonna kill it if it's threatening to steal my human body.
The thing is,
I got there and I was, holy crap, she just killed her queen.
I think it was because, like, you know,
I was a little upset
she was under the queen. It was her queen in the moment when she killed it.
Yeah, I like that interpretation, and that's the one I want to believe.
Yeah,
certain parts of this book made me believe that
matricide?
Rheacide.
What?
Isn't it Rheacide?
No, when you kill a queen.
Matricide is killing one's mother.
Okay, then what's killing a queen?
Rheacide.
What?
Rheacide is
I thought
killing
Ray
a
was
monarch.
king.
Rhea is, but also a queen.
Oh, okay.
I think. I mean, I don't.
I took Latin for 3 semesters.
Oh yeah, regicide.
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 So yeah, Cassie commits regicide, but it's also kind of matricide because the termite queen lays all the eggs.
Yeah.
I thought that was I interpreted like Cassie had a lot of problems with like this book was like every one of these books has like them like dealing with their feelings in some kind of way, and this book was a lot of Cassie dealing with the feelings of like being an environmentalist basically, which makes more sense than the last one where it was her dealing with being a leader, because she was never a leader in any of the other books.
Yeah.
But in this book she was like, well, how can I call myself an environmentalist if I just killed this termite queen? And I think her being a termite just put it into perspective. Like, are we the good guys? You know, I say I'm like an environmentalist, but I just killed this queen, you know. And the Yeerks, it's just part of nature. Like, she thought about that.
I thought that was cool. That's another thing that almost, you know, that I liked about the book, but it wasn't ultimately I didn't like it because it wasn't connected to, it didn't really like come together very well. It was kind of just like, I don't know, it didn't really relate enough to the Animorph side of it. Like, this kind of seemed like if in the next book Marco like asks a question where he's like, man, do I really like Baywatch season 3 more than Baywatch season 1? Like, let me think about this. And then like, you know.
No, I think it's fine because it's
not
part
really
of the
related to the Animorphs.
No, it's part of the ongoing thing because, like, you know, they turn into animals, they're animals, and they're kind of messing with nature by preventing these parasites.
Yeah, like, and then they tie it in with Tobias too because it's like, well, Cassie, I can't just not eat animals.
Yeah. Well, then Tobias is like, dude, Cassie, you're a human. Help the humans, idiot.
Do you want to talk about? There are some descriptions of.
Okay, wait,
animals.
hold on.
Huh?
I really hope Cassie's a vegetarian
She eats veggie pizza, it mentions.
Yeah, but
So.
I don't think
Yeah,
she is, though.
I assume she is, based on how
I assume she
loves
is,
animals so
but
much.
like, given how much of a hypocrite she is already,
I think it would have
wouldn't be out of
mentioned
place
it before if she was a vegetarian.
I don't think she'd eat veggie pizza if she was.
She very much sounded like a
I've eaten
vegetarian.
veggie pizza before, and I'm not a
well, yeah, but like,
yeah,
given
but she was like craving.
like I said, given how much
Like,
of
she
it,
like poor
Nobody
veggie
said she
pizza.
was craving it. She just ate it.
Well, yeah, but when
It
you
was
just grab
leftovers,
something, eat
dude.
it.
It was
If
leftovers,
you think
dude.
about something
Do you
that
hate
much,
veggie pizza so much that you only eat it when you crave it?
no. But if I eat something, I specifically say what it is. It's usually because I like wanted that thing specifically.
Okay, but maybe Cassie isn't you.
Are you sure? Maybe it is me.
Okay, how does her craving veggie pizza make her a vegetarian, though?
I
I can see
pizza.
myself craving
I've never had veggie pizza in my life.
Yeah, mustard's never.
Except when B Natural ordered it.
I've been eating veggie pizza long before I was a vegetarian because I liked it.
Because it's good.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. And I'm
Well,
eating way less.
Cassie
meat than I
isn't
used
you.
Anyway.
Every character in this book has the exact
No,
same
Mark was
taste in
you.
food as I do.
Hey,
I'll
can we
tell
talk
you.
about Andalite?
No,
Anatomy?
first I want to say,
Okay.
given how much of a hypocrite Cassie's been established to be already, if Cassie, it wouldn't really surprise me if it turned out that she's not a vegetarian. In which case, I'm just frick her even more than already. I
don't
guess.
think you can say frick her even more than already until we actually know that she's not a vegetarian.
But that's why I said in which case.
Alright.
But yeah.
So, well, okay, we're trying to think. When have we seen people eat? We've seen them like
In the mall.
go to the mall. They've eaten nachos.
Yeah.
Is that it? They had pizza once. I don't know if we ever saw Cassie.
Cassie had like chili at her chili with axe at her house.
Chili generally has.
Chili usually has meat.
Doesn't have to.
Yeah,
Well,
I think your chili's being.
It didn't specifically mention that the
Yeah.
chili that she ate had meat in it.
Oh, we sure about that though. I don't know.
I don't think it said, "Listen to my beefy beef meat chili, yum yum."
Tender
It just said
noodle
it's
nuggets.
It just said it's spicy.
Hey, can we talk about Rachel's 10,000 bright white teeth?
Rachel, you keep smiling with your 10,000 bright white teeth. It always distracts me while I'm trying to drive. You know the DMV said you need to keep your mouth closed when you're on the sidewalks. Cause too many automobile
You're
accidents.
kidding, right? I asked Rachel. You can never be totally sure with Rachel. She just smiled with her 10,000 bright white teeth.
10,000. I think that's good writing.
Yeah,
No,
but that's
it's
just
not.
funny because I imagine it's literal. Because this book
That's
doesn't
why it's
exaggerate like
I
that.
didn't
usually.
imagine it. Yeah, it does.
That's not good writing.
Yeah, it does.
It is good
It's
writing.
not good writing.
It might be
What?
good writing if it was like if there was other things in this book that were like that.
You
but
don't need to
there's-
set precedents to have good writing.
Yes, you do.
I just really like
I don't
imagining
like
that Rachel just this whole time she's had 10,000 bright white teeth in her mouth. They were just never brought up yet.
I find that you, Mustard, specifically, like, tend to imagine things exactly as they're written, whereas I just usually tend to just assume that they're exaggerating.
Well, I
without
speak
thinking
very
about it too
literally,
much.
so.
When I was a kid, I used to like always read things literally. Like I remember reading like kid series books, and if the characters were like, and if like a vehicle of some kind showed up, and then the next line was like someone said, "Let's go," and then the next line was the car sped off. I just imagined the car speeding off without them in it because it at no point did the book say they all got in the car. So
See, I think you'd be really good at programming, because programming is all about specifying everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember reading a book, a comedy book, where it was like the dog, where it was like personifying the dog, but the dog clearly didn't talk, but it was like, oh, my dog can talk, it was supposed to be like, oh, like, I know my dog's expressions, but like, I actually thought the dog was talking in the book, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, a talking dog. And then when I grew up and I reread the book, I'm like, oh wait, this is actually really boring.
Yeah, there's a lot of books that like the cover makes you assume it's fantasy, and it's not, especially in kids' books.
Yeah.
Like, that seems to happen a ton in kids' books, where they just lie on the cover blatantly.
can you give an example?
Stink, the Amazing Shrinking Boy.
That's not a fantasy book?
No, it's not. He's just a regular kid, and when he goes to his bed, he's like a quarter of an inch taller than when he wakes up. That's the plot.
Wait, he grows?
That is kind of.
How is he shrinking?
Well, okay, like he's like shorter like at the end of the day than at the beginning of the day. And it's like an eighth of an inch.
This is like how humans work.
Oh, that okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, shrinking kid.
sucks.
That seems interesting.
Can we talk about Andalite anatomy quick? Because
Yeah.
His
Yep.
tail went limp like an empty sock. That's Analyte Anatomy.
Well,
That was while he was morphing.
that's not what I was talking about.
I think
Okay,
empty socks are
so I
funny.
mentioned that they have blue and tan fur, which I don't
Yes.
think has been mentioned yet.
No, that was mentioned in the last book.
Was
okay.
it?
Yeah, it was.
Well, I didn't notice it. I thought that was interesting that they have some tan fur.
Yeah, that's gross. Really, Applegate, two colors that don't match at all?
No,
Why not
no.
blue and purple?
No, it's like Sonic.
No, it's the Best Buy colors.
It's Sonic. Sonic. He looks like Sonic.
Sonic's
Okay,
anyway.
A, that's Sonic's bare skin, and B, I didn't say I liked that part of Sonic's character design.
No, I think it's just fur. Like Shadow has like fur there, doesn't he?
I just assumed
I just
Sonic's
assumed it was
arms
his
were
chest.
naked.
I mean,
It's
in
not.
the movie, it's fur.
Are his arms colored
I
blue in the
wouldn't
movie,
say that the
Yeah, but
movie
his
is
stomach
video
is
game canon, dude.
his tummy is
Oh,
fur.
okay.
Yeah, because that's gross.
No, it's like how cats will have like a white belly.
Andalites have black hooves, which may have also been mentioned. I just took special note of it this time. And I assumed that the tail was short-ish because it said...
Yeah, but you were wrong.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting that. It said Axe was running and he like tucked his tail up against his back to be faster. So I assumed that meant his tail was like not longer than his back. But in this book, it specifically says very clearly, and I'm glad Applegate did this because I was confused about it before.
Yeah, because you were stupid.
You didn't read it. It said that in every book. He did it.
No, but in this, it specifically says.
It says that in book
It
one.
says that in every book.
In every book,
No.
it says it's every book. Some Andalite snaps his tail over his head and hits somebody.
It doesn't say it's over his head.
Yes, it does.
You
You're
just
just
read the
stupid.
I just
audio
listened
book
to the
at
audiobook and
2.5
noticed it.
speed.
All right,
Anyway,
well,
but in this book, it specifically says Axe's tail is long enough to reach over his head and attack someone.
It always says he goes over his head.
Well, I never noticed.
Because you read the audiobook on 2.5 speed.
It's not 2.5, it's 1.5.
I got in an argument on the internet with Mustard over this, and he was like, "No, he could just turn around and attack people really quickly." And I'm like, "No, Mustard, that's stupid.
No,
he would not do
his
that."
eyes, he could look backwards. So
But
he
he's not
But he
gonna
can't
turn.
turn around to attack everyone.
Mustard. when he attacks, it says his tail flashed really fast. It doesn't say he's lightning fast, turned around and smacked him in the face.
Maybe
with
he
the
just
tail.
happened to his butt was close enough to the guy.
Every single
Never
time?
says it's over his head.
Every single time.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway,
Thing one about this book.
listen, I was wrong. I admit that. You won't keep making fun of me for it.
Okay, first thing that's good about this book. I finally in my notes after a good part. Jake is like, hey, let's draw straws to see who plays tag with the Yeerks. And then Michael is
see what?
like, to see who can play tag with the Yeerks.
Play tag with the Yeerks.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be the distraction?
Yeah, who's gonna be distraction? Then Michael's like, tag, next time let's play some other game. Yahtzee maybe. I don't like games that involve life and death. So Michael just wants to play a nice game of Yahtzee with the Yeerks, and I like that. I thought that was fun.
Oh, I didn't catch
that
on
was
to
a
that. I
good
thought he
quote.
was referring to like the game of drawing straws, but I didn't realize he was referring to tag.
Let's play
and that's-
Yahtzee to
I
see
thought he
who
meant
gets to
drawing
be the
straws too.
distraction.
Dude, I love Yahtzee. It's fine.
No, just drawing straws doesn't involve life and death, but tag with the Yeerks does.
It does involve life and death. If whoever draws the shortest straw could die.
So would Yahtzee if whoever loses dies.
Okay, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
what the heck, dude?
So they had this plan. They didn't know what to do, and then Axe was like, "Hey, I have an idea. How about one of us morphs into a prey that the Yeerks attack?"
So even Axe is falling into the pattern of, hey, let's morph into prey.
Anyway, I thought you were gonna say that you thought it was good that Jake was the one who drew the shortest straw.
I thought. You
No,
were
I just thought
gonna
it was
say
funny
that
that
too.
they did Yahtzee.
Because he's like the leader, and so far like so you wouldn't expect him to be the one who's the distraction.
Well, the seed following is the best scene in the whole book.
What's that scene?
They're termites. That part's cool.
Oh, is that right after that?
Yeah, it's the whole
Oh, is
termite
Jake not
part.
at the termite thing? He's
No.
like, okay.
But the part with the termites is the best part of the book.
Yeah, so let's talk about that then.
Then she
I'm
baked
glad
on
that
the...
you guys really enjoyed them turning into bugs for once. That warms.
No,
my
I
heart,
always
you
know.
guys.
I like the ant part. I just
You
understand
did?
why
How
they
come you
hated it.
didn't? You didn't say so.
Well, it's just that I understand why they hated it, and you seem to think that, oh, hive mind sounds like a fun thing.
It does sound like a fun idea. I'm like,
I know.
what? You mean I don't have to live my own life from now on? What? I can just be a bug and like protect other bugs? What? This is great. What
Yeah,
do I
but
need
not,
a brain
but not
for?
if you're an animorph.
I guess not.
You have to
Being
turn
an
back.
animorph would suck, you guys.
So
Yeah,
Why
well-
would you guys prefer to be an animorph than a bug?
So
That's
let's
my
go into
question.
detail about this. Did we say the Yeerks are trying to like the plan is to like deforest.
The plan is
forest.
deforestation, and Cassie's like, you can't do that, that's bad.
Well, the reason they're doing it is
And
because
then the other Animorphs are like, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Cassie's like, you can't do that. It's bad. And then the Animorphs are like, yeah, she's right, because if they deforested the forest, then they'd be able to find us, and we'd have nowhere to hide. And the guy's like, what? No, it's not bad, because that's bad because of the skunks, guys.
anyway. So the reason that the Yeerks want to deforest the forest is because they think that all the Animorphs are Andalites, and the Andalites have nowhere else to live but the forest because they can't like rent a house or something.
And Axe and Tobias do live in the forest.
They do live in the forest together.
So, like, in fact, they are hiding in Andalite in the forest.
Yes.
They're pros.
Man, I want to see more of Tobias and Axe together, but we're only going to see them in Tobias and Axe's book.
Too bad too bad you get Cassie and Jake.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
So, they all have to morph into termites, and they suddenly, like, they hear this voice, and it's the queen, like, calling them, like, telling them orders.
And Cassie says, I thought it was the voice of my mother for a second.
Yeah.
That was wild,
really cool,
dude.
Not too bad it wasn't. I mean, the whole termite scene was cool.
Yeah,
Like,
I wasn't sure if everyone would like it, but I was like, oh, that's termite scene's good.
I really like how it does the thing with Tobias again, where the same thing I did with Tobias in his book, where it's like they're the termites now, like they're like, oh, who is this other thoughts intruding into my head, and the other thoughts are them, aka Cassie, Rachel, and Marco.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like shouting like no in their own head.
And like,
no,
stop, we're Animorphs. And then the termite's
I'm
like,
a termite.
who's being annoying back there? Who's screaming at me?
Yeah, and these, I thought that the way that they show the termites, like how they're just like giving orders to like kill the ants, and it was interesting. It's like, oh, this is my mission. I have to do this, and they could not listen to the queen. Even like after they basically like took control of the termite body, like usually that they're taking control of an animal's of the mind of the animal, and then it's fine. But like this termite queen's will was like so strong that they had to listen to what it was saying, basically.
Yeah, they could just not control their own
bodies. I like how in this book, like, it subtly switches over to the termite narrating instead of Cassie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't notice it until afterwards.
And then suddenly it's like, and then suddenly you hear Cassie, but she's like in the third person now because the termite's narrating, and the Cassie's voice is an alien voice.
Yeah, having the animal narrate is one of the coolest things that Applegate does.
She kills the queen. It blew my mind when she did that.
That blew my mind too.
I like how they describe.
You are queen.
I like how they describe like how when she was trying to turn her head towards the queen to like kill her, because she was trying to get her. The only way she could get herself to kill the queen was to like try and picture her as an ant, as an invading ant, and. So, but still, the way she described, like, turning her head towards the queen to kill her was, like, moving through molasses.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool, because, not to get too heavy, but that's how I feel when I'm depressed. When I'm, like, trying to move, it feels like everything's molasses. So, I can relate to Cassie here.
Yeah, kind of like how I related to Rachel being sad, because that's how I feel when I'm depressed. Yeah.
Wait, when was Rachel sad?
When she's like, oh, should I go with my dad and abandon all my responsibilities, or face the impossible thing that we have to do?
What book was that?
7.
That one was okay, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I feel like I'm like forgetting these books really fast, and I'm sad. I'm like, hey, good thing we have a podcast that I can listen to if I forget too much.
I gave it. It was a thumbs up.
Yeah.
It was a thumbs up.
It wasn't like as great as book 6.
It was better than Starstruck or anything, but it was better than this.
It was better than Megamorphs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like an average book, I recall, because 5 and 6 I think were excellent.
Well, average to good.
Yeah,
average
good.
Average for so far.
Average for a good Animorphs book.
Average for how far we've come so far.
Yeah.
It gets worse. I'm sorry.
5 and 6 were so good.
I mean, I like book 8 more, but yeah, book 6 is also great.
Which one is 8?
The one we just read, The Alien, where Axe is narrating. And
that was cool.
And they free Mr. 3's host for a few minutes.
Yeah.
That one had a lot of plot.
I'm so frustrated. Okay.
Compared to this.
Yeah, I was like, man, you should have killed him, but then I was like, whatever. He knew the Andalite personally and one.
Yeah, and then Visor 3 freaking shows up in this freaking book again.
Yeah, my haiku was just, guess what? Visor 3. Oh, I'll read it. You're not going to believe this.
Well, which chapter is this?
Huh?
For this book, I would not talk about the last book.
Yeah,
anymore.
for this book, Visor 3 shows up. Oh, you're talking about the other book.
No,
we're talking about this book right now.
Well, we're not talking about the other book anymore. We're talking about this book.
You won't believe this, but Visor 3 in the flesh is in the building. That's my haiku for that chapter. That's all that happens is whoa.
Boo. Guess what, guys?
Oh, because he's like disguised. Oh, hey, so they need people to vote for whether or not
they're gonna get funding to destroy the forest.
Wait, can I say something about Visor 3 first?
Yeah, go ahead.
In the last book, I really liked the Visor 3 element of it because they took the fight to him instead of him showing up out of nowhere.
Yes.
It was like because the actual
He's just
plot.
a Team Rocket.
Have we had any book without Visor 3?
The actual plot
did we?
of 6.
Oh
wait.
I think you're right. Was he?
6. Well, he was in. No,
He didn't interact with them really directly in 6.
No, they just listened to his plan.
Yeah.
He didn't interact with them though. So anyway.
Oh, and book 2 was cool too, because Wait, no, was
Well,
Book 2, Visitor talked to someone else.
Oh, and then he was in the ending, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then he fought with Jake as a tiger.
The ending of book 2 doesn't count. The rest of the books count.
Anyway, I like the ending of book 2. Anyway.
What's the ending of book 2?
They run away.
Fight.
No, there's barely any fighting. They just run away.
They ran away.
Well, that's a fight. We don't fight. We just run away.
We say the exact same things in episode 2. Just move on.
Anyway.
I'm glad we still have the same opinions.
So anyway. So in the last book, Visitor 3 doesn't just basically the plot of the last book is that Axe wants to call home. And... Yeah, and then, while Axe is calling home, Yerk does show up and cut the connection, and when I read that, I was like, oh, Visitor 3 found out, Visitor 3 is here. But no, it was just some dude who hated Visitor 3 and wanted Axe to go help him kill Visitor 3. So Visitor 3 is only in that book because Axe decided deliberately to kill him.
And I was so glad that the Yerk that showed up wasn't Visitor 3. It made it so interesting.
Yeah, because there are other Yerks other than... Guess what? There are other Yerks other than Visitor 3.
And that guy was like the most interesting character we've seen like the whole series.
Yeah. Yep. I want to know more about that guy.
He's probably dead. My point is, coming off of that last book, which was amazing, this book had like 1/64 of the plot of the last book. And this book was very stupid.
I have to say, I've seen a skunk in real life and survived, and
Whoa, really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It didn't scare me. And
you should write a book about it.
I should. It was very anticlimactic. At first I thought that Applegate was just gonna be racist to skunks and be like, based on the scene with the dad, I thought Applegate was just gonna be like, yes, skunks are bad. But then Cause why would the dad hate skunks so much? I don't know. And then she was like, yeah, skunks are cool. But the only reason she thinks skunks are cool is because of the fact that they can spray things, and I was kind of disappointed.
Also, they're very sweet and cute.
Yeah, skunks are very sweet and cute.
They cuddle.
Like it says now, skunks are the least threatening thing ever. They just no messes with them because everyone knows the skunks and they spray you.
Yeah, they're great. And I didn't mess with the skunk and it didn't spray me.
Well, yeah,
but then that's just how they defeat Visitor 3 is because she sprays it, and then everybody's like, ew, skunk spray, lol, hijinks.
They ruffle and lol.
I don't understand for the life of me. Even if the skunk spray was so horrible to deal with that they felt that they just had to do anything to get rid of it.
That they had to literally run away.
Yes.
And let the person go.
That was so stupid.
Why didn't people who hadn't been sprayed come and get her then? There were like 1 billion people in that compound.
People standing outside, yeah.
They're all just too afraid of getting sprayed themselves, I guess. That makes sense. No, it doesn't. Anyway.
Why didn't... Okay, so did the internet exist in 1996?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we mentioned this yes! It absolutely did!
I'm making a joke.
Oh, okay.
Because clearly Visser 3 and his cronies are not aware of it. By the fact that they don't just Google how to get rid of skunk spray!
There was no Google, but...
They would have used Ask Jeeves or something.
I just love the image of Visser 3 trying to use a laptop and he starts and he's like, how do I search things? And he
Visser 3's search history, strong, how to get rid of smelly small animal.
How to
get rid of human stripy smelly animal.
Marco calls them little stinky skunk babies. What? Marco calls them little stinky skunk babies.
Visser 3's search history includes how to search things and Google and Google.com.
Imagine if Visser 3 had a Facebook.
Oh man, you guys! I'm so sad that Cinnamon Bunza was taken down or something because one of the people on Cinnamon Bunza made Facebook fake Facebook
They
art.
made Facebook? Wow.
They created they made art of the characters on Facebook. They made fake posts that the characters would have made on Facebook, and they were amazing.
Wait, that site's down right now?
Yes.
Use the web archive.
Oh. Okay, maybe I can share some with you later. I don't know. I think most of them will be spoilers at this point, but they are great. Shout out to Ify and Adam. Ify makes the things.
What?
Ify makes the Facebook post things. They're not actual Facebook posts. They're just like fake screenshots.
So someone said a thing. Okay, so yesterday everyone was like dissing my theory about how the "Thank you very much" was the Elvis quote, but in the book, one of the quotes is "E.T. phone home," which is not inspirational and it's not helpful. It's just like a pop culture quote. So there's no reason that it is ridiculous to have Elvis quote in there. But it wasn't.
I specifically didn't. I specifically remembered that E.T. phone home was in the book, but I specifically didn't mention it just because I knew you would say that.
It's not like in the book though. It's like in his diary.
Yeah. No, you read it in Cassie's book of quotes.
Oh, in Cassie's
book of quotes. It's in the book of quotes, which Stir says proves the fact that the Elvis quote could have been in there.
Yes, absolutely. I absolutely believe that. He quotes books. He quotes stuff in the book.
I don't want to talk about this again.
Stir, we had this argument.
I know,
already.
but now I'm more convinced.
I think as a general rule, we should not talk about past books. Book 9.
Wait, but you guys had a come to Jesus moment about the message.
But
That's what we did.
I think that talk about this book. I don't want to. This book sucks.
But no, let's talk about plots. So I have a question. So they need permission to deforest. And they need one more vote from this one guy.
Yep, and this one guy, and if he's dead, he can't vote. And then, what are they gonna do if he doesn't vote?
How does
oh my god, yeah.
So do they need this guy to like be in a physical meeting? Because if that's the case, why would most of the votes already be decided if it was in person? Like, wouldn't I feel like to me? I assume that's online. If like. They're like
we're not doing votes online.
So like 8 people already voted, and they just need this one more vote. And if this guy dies, then their plan's just screwed. They can't do anything.
I'm like, wouldn't they just appoint another commissioner?
Yeah.
Why does this whole plot just stop?
Well, I think they mentioned that there's not 9 commissioners. There's 3. So.
Why can't they just like lie about it?
Obviously in this town they can't. You're not allowed to replace anybody once they die. Once a commissioner dies, that's it.
Well, clearly all the commissioners have been dying out lately.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why they only have 3.
Mr. 3 sure does like dying people and replacing them. He does that with dying people.
He likes dying people.
He died himself in this book.
Yeah, he dyed himself purple.
Then number 2, that was really funny.
No, wait. I want to say something about this.
Yeah, say it.
I forgot.
Oh, okay. Then number 2, I thought was really funny. The Yerks named the lumber company Dapson Lumber Company, which apparently would be like the equivalent of us naming it like Anus Lumber Company. Stinky Anus Lumber Company.
Guys, Dapson is the N-word in Yerk language. You can't say it.
Dapson is
the Yerks are like, I'm going to say the D word.
Dapson is just some...
Mr. 3's...
It's just some Yerk
there's like someone make a comic where like one of the Yerks is like, I'm going to say the D word, and then Mr. 3 like whips his tail and cuts the dude's head off and eats him.
Okay, so these Yerks...
And Mr. 3's like, anyone else want to say the D word?
So just go to a different planet, make a lumber company and say, hey, let's call it Stinky Anus Lumber Company. It'll be really funny. That's what they did.
Yeah, so Dapson Lumber Company,
I like
said. That's what the Yerks call the logging company. Very funny.
So now the Yerks
it's a Yerkish word that means, well, never mind what it means. It isn't polite.
It isn't polite. It's just the humans don't know it, so it's funny.
It's like
when people will sneak like jokes that people don't understand in movies just by the censors.
I like the Yerks now. I mean, I already did, but I like them more now.
They have a sense of humor.
They have a society.
They live in a society.
So Mako's dad thinks that he joined a gang because Mako's like not home all the time because he's an animal. And he names the skunks after the members of the Ramones.
So he likes the Ramones.
Yeah.
Godfathers of Punk. They're like if you go to the Wikipedia page for Godfather of Punk, 4 names from it, then the Ramones are the ones I'm not super familiar with.
Well,
we don't have any Ramones albums.
Anyway, so I feel like him calling them the Godfathers of Punk, that sounds like he like really knows music and is like pretentious about it, which I think is cool.
That seems very good.
One that I noticed was he used the 90s lineup. He didn't use the one that made the Ramones album.
I think he did the current lineup because he's like, I want the Ramones to be proud of these names. Like they would be proud if they saw this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he wanted the President of Ramones because of that.
Ew.
Yeah, like once they save the world and then they tell their pivotal skunk stories, so that they can get to meet the Ramones.
But there's been a couple hints that Marco likes music. The 2 being that there's a mention that Marco listens to CDs in class, like hiding headphones under his hair. And the other that I think is a reference to that is that he dresses like Beavis.
He wears a Metallica shirt.
Beavis always wears a Metallica t-shirt. So, yeah. Marco likes music. He likes punk and metal music, presumably.
Of course, I guess he's gonna join
Makes
a gang.
sense.
He's the type who join a gang. All those punky metalheads.
One thing that annoyed me in this book is they were like, oh yeah, we didn't want to be ants because we ran into this ant colony that wasn't ours. But that was not the reason the ants were so bad.
No, it was not.
The reason the ants were so bad is because there was a hive mind colony, and they had this hive mind, and they kept like the ants were so basic and only focused on, I need to be an ant, I need to do this work. This is like what the hive would want.
They spent all day whining about hive mind.
Yeah, it had
They
nothing to do
whine
with
so much in this stupid.
And and they just forgot the reason that ants being an ant was so bad, and then they ran into the exact same problem as termites.
Whatever book it was, in book 5 they morph ants, and then they're like, oh no, Tobias has to help them gain control, and once they gain control, they're okay. They get the transponder, they come back, and the only trouble comes when the enemy ants come along.
But
it's just the feeling of being part of the hive.
They say that it's awful. Like they say that being an ant is disgusting, and I never want to be an ant because being an ant is awful because of how you feel.
They have nightmares about the loss of individuality because of that.
Yeah, because
guys,
ants are not
this is
individuals.
this is such a Western ideological book.
It
If they
is.
grew up in China or another in a collectivist culture, they would love the ant thing.
I like
They
the
would
ant
love
thing.
it.
Well, no, it's just because they can't control themselves.
I mean,
and
they're
turn
in
back into
America.
They
people.
could
They're in,
control
what, West
themselves when they were
Virginia?
ants. Okay, the termite thing is different. But what I want to say about that is it was because the ants are mean to each other and they want to kill each other. And in this book, they specifically was I think Cassie was like, oh no, I looked it up, and termites aren't as mean to each other as ants are, and also I'm gonna make sure to make us part of the termite hive that's inside the thing.
But that wasn't the reason. I don't think that was the main reason that being an ant was so bad, and they just forgot. As far as I remember, that wasn't at all why being an ant sucked so much. It was because of the hive mind thing, and then they ran into the same problem with termites.
What they were having nightmares about was definitely the being torn apart by other ants. That was definitely the big problem in this.
I don't know about
We'd have to look.
I'd have to look.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced of either. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but either way, they
that was
ran into the
definitely a problem, and they definitely probably should have cared more about.
I mean, even if that wasn't the main problem, it was definitely a big problem.
Definitely a big
and they
problem,
ran into it again because they were just oh well, this one problem won't happen, so everything's fine. But this other thing was a huge problem.
Also,
anyway.
but their options are very limited.
Yeah,
when it comes to insects.
Yeah, it works. I won't complain. And it worked, and it was a cool scene, so I won't complain about that much.
I was just flies. What's wrong with flies?
I was just annoyed by how they blew off the whole reason that ants was bad. But the scene was good. It was fine. Nothing was bad with that, really.
Oh, the best scene in the book.
Wait, I think he's talking about the ant scene.
Oh, ant scene?
No, I mean...
No, he's talking about when they bring up the ants in this part.
Oh, okay.
There's a part that I really related to in this book. I was like, man, I'm thinking exactly what these characters are thinking. Page 47 on my book. Thanks, Jake, I said, and sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I'll be okay now, I think. He smiled a slow smile. I'll be okay too, Cassie, as long as you're around. From a little while after I left, I heard Marco make a loud gagging noise.
Like that.
Yeah, that was the most relatable part of the whole book.
That was the most relatable part of the whole book.
Yeah.
Good old Marco.
Yeah.
That was Marco, right?
Yeah, it was. I stopped there, I was like, man, I don't want to hear that. And then Marco gagged.
I zoned out for a
That's
second.
brilliant,
Thanks, Marco.
Marco's good. Marco's great.
There's a part there's a part I related to too, where hold on, I have to get there. You can talk with somebody.
Okay.
You can pair two characters together, but you can't make me ship them.
Yeah.
You can lead Cassie and Jake together, but you can't
give them chemistry.
But you can't make them drink.
There's one part where I saw the word 3 in capital letters, and I was like, oh, is this gonna be Visit 3? It's gonna show up, but then it was just 3 guys. And then next chapter, Visit 3 showed up. Fine, Visit 3, who cares? He's not even
So
upset
that
at this
happened to
point.
you again.
Yeah.
Mr. 3 totally didn't need to be in this book.
No, he didn't. Well, he gets sprayed by the stinky straw.
Yeah, he got sprayed by this thing. Let's talk about... Are we talking about this stupid ending
Wait,
now?
okay, this is
What
the
else
thing.
you got?
This is the thing I related to a little bit. I mean, I didn't personally relate to it, but it was the kind of thing. It's like, oh, this is the kind of thing that millennials would share as being relatable. Wizard 3 just stood there and stared. This is after he gets sprayed by the skunk, and he's trying to get the Hork-Bajir to go and get Farron to bring him back so they can exchange him for the magical cure. And then he says, "This has not been a good day for me. Would you really like to feel as bad as I do?"
For that my note was, this has not been a good day for me either.
Nice.
You had to read Animorphs all day.
You had to read this book.
So I had to read this book, and I was just not feeling good at that point in the book. I was just like, why?
And then Wizard 3 almost literally shakes his fist at them as they leave, as they want to go away. Because he says, "You do realize that one day I will have you all." Wizard 3 said.
So stupid.
Wizard 3 said, twirling his mustache and shaking his fist with the other hand. With all your clever tricks, I will still find you. With all your clever tricks and your dog.
Guys, Cassie sprays Homer.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that freaking... Okay, this chapter where they're taking care of the skunks is
That's when I knew that Applegate did not respect skunks, was because she wrote Cassie spraying Homer.
Wait, what? No, book. She respects skunks above all else.
Yeah.
Skunks are... She holds the utmost respect for skunks.
It was Cassie that sprayed Homer, not the skunks.
No, she respects skunks in the way that incels respect women.
What? No. She's not...
Applegate does not go chasing after skunks, hoping that one of them will agree to be her skunk slave, so that she can stop being a skunk cell.
Applegate says skunks are cool, because she's like, oh yeah, skunks, they're so peaceful, just no one messes with them, and they're the most, just don't care, they're just peaceful and they just do their own thing.
And then she's like, hey, check out this dumb dopey dog that messes with the skunk.
And then at the end, she values skunks only for the fact that they can spray Visser 3.
No, it's because they're...
And also
she wouldn't spend 5 chapters cuddling baby skunks if she thought skunks were dumb. She likes skunks. The whole book's about how cute skunks are.
I'm glad you guys agree. I'm glad you guys have come to the conclusion that Applegate loves skunks, because this is something that they said that they've concluded in Cinnamon Bunza too. And they've said, if Applegate had a Patronus, it would be a skunk.
What's a what?
A Patronus.
What's that?
How do you not know what that is?
No.
He hasn't read Harry Potter.
I haven't. It's just a thing in popular culture.
Yeah.
A Patronus is your spirit animal.
Is it like the owl thing? What's the owl thing?
No, that's his pet.
Like a Horcrux?
What?
I've heard of Horcrux.
No, it's not a Horcrux.
Okay, look, it's just you cast it. There's just one spell that you cast to get rid of Dementors, and when you cast it, an animal appears and gets rid of the Dementor for you.
When you cast it, your furry OC appears and protects you.
Yeah, and everyone has a different furry OC, and Applegate's would be a skunk.
Hey guys, can we make it headcanon that Wizard 3 has a big twirly mustache? Just like a blue,
big twirly blue
that the Animorphs just always forgot to mention.
Yeah, he's just a big analyte mustache.
No,
he actually does have a mouth. It's just under his mustache.
Now, when Wizard 3 says, "Would you want to have as bad a day as I had?" I took that as a tongue-in-cheek threat to that guy. Please don't make me mad.
That's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like that quote.
And he twirls his mustache.
No, the other quote where he's like, "You do realize I will have you all." So okay, there's this whole scene where Cassie, these 3 freaking chapters of Cassie and the other Animorphs. Not only Cassie, maybe one thing of is Cassie, but all the other Animorphs, just because Jake's got the hots for Cassie, or have to set aside their valuable time and
this was a really weird moment for Tobias.
Take care of skunks. So 3 entire chapters of them skunk antics.
I didn't know it was that long because I had no notes on that part because there was nothing interesting, so I didn't realize it was that long.
I'm looking at it. I didn't either. I forgot to write down what happened in the different chapters, and then I looked back and I was like, oh, nothing happened.
Yeah, you literally forget that this book has a plot in those 3 chapters.
What are your haikus for those 3 chapters?
What are the chapters?
16, 17, and 18.
Cassie turns into a skunk and falls asleep with the skunk babies. Oops. Chapter 17. The group agrees to watch the baby skunks until their mother comes back. Chapter 18. Cassie becomes a mother skunk and sprays Jake's dog. There's plot too, I guess. That's where the plot comes back. I forgot it existed.
Yeah.
How many,
Tobias literally shows up and he's like, hey you guys, we've been spying on the Yerks this entire time and now they're cutting down the trees right. They only know that the Yerks are cutting down the trees because they hear it with their freaking human...
Chop, chop, chop.
Because they hear it with their human hearing from, where they happen to be with the skunks. If that skunk had happened to live, more near Cassie's house than near the Yerk logging camp, the Yerks would have just won this one because of the skunks. The scenes where they're taking care of the skunks are they reminded me of those old like animated shorts where there's no dialogue and there's just like cute animals walking around, and then a dopey dog comes along and then the animals are like, oh no, and there's a bunch of little baby animals walking in a line behind the mom, and the baby animals cower behind the mom, and the mom's like, ooh, and then she does something silly like fart in its face, but it's a skunk. And then the dog runs away going, ooh, 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 and then it ends.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And the ending of the book's even more cartoony than that.
Yeah, so let's go into detail about this great ending.
I don't even know what to say.
So Visit 3 captures the Cassie who's morphed into a skunk.
He captures Cassie, puts her in a box, and says, "Hey, no one open the box."
And then Cassie's like, "Hey,
wait a minute,
if you don't let me free, I will kill this human."
Hey, hold on. Might I note they've already captured Farron and put him in a box so they can like infest him or whatever, but they're just leaving him around for some reason, and they put Cassie in the same box as him.
Oh, they do?
Yes, they do. That's why
the
plan is able to work.
So you
Not only do they do that, they and then they turn away.
Yep.
And
then she turns into a skunk.
They can morph. It's like these andalites can morph animals smaller than the air holes we've cut in the box. So don't let them escape, or I'll kill you. And then
anything that escapes, shoot it.
And then everyone turns away.
Yeah. And then Cassie is in thought speech is like, "Hey, I will kill this human who you need to do the voting thing."
And then they're like, "Oh shit, maybe we shouldn't have put him in the same box and also looked away while you morphed into something more deadly."
Man, too bad we can't just hire a new guy to vote for this. Man, that'd be terrible.
Here's what we learned: is the Yeerks only have one box.
so then he opens up the box and he sees a skunk.
And he's like, ha ha ha, you're so weak,
I
can't believe you.
Okay, kill this. And then Cassie farts in like everyone's face. And he's like, ah! And
stinky smells.
I'll tell you the secret to get rid of the stinky smell if you let us go and let this guy free. And he's like, okay. And then the Animorphs, and then
the Yeerks load the guy into like a van, and they're like, okay, we're gonna take him to the hospital, and the Animorphs just let them leave, and they don't even have anyone follow them.
They do it though.
And it's implied that the Yeerks do?
Yeah.
Take him to the hospital?
See, the Yeerks are the better people here, because the Yeerks
held up their end of the deal.
Yeah, but the Animorphs, they lie, and it's like, oh yeah, grape juice is what gets rid of the stinky skunk smell. So then, and the last scene is Visit 3, like, taking a bath in this, like, giant lake of grape juice that they got, because it's not getting rid of the smell, they need so much grape juice. And he's like purple, his fur is all purple now, and they just laugh at the end. It's like, haha, he's still smelly.
So does he stay purple?
For the whole rest of his
I'm serious, does he?
He's purple. That's a spoiler.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, you can't tell us.
The visitor is now a very lovely, attractive shade of purple, Tobias said with a slightly evil laugh.
Yeah, but does he stay purple?
You'll have to find out.
Okay, yeah. So you need to be dyed purple now?
Anyway, I thought that was dumb because tomato juice doesn't actually.
Yeah, it doesn't. So the plot point is based on something that's not even true.
It's so silly and just cartoonish.
No, you guys said that. I guess the guy thought he was dreaming. I thought maybe he was passed out. Was it guy conscious?
No, I thought they said that. Didn't it say that? Oh, the guy will just assume this was a dream because all this crazy stuff happened.
I thought maybe it was just like.
Did it say that?
I don't know. I don't even know what this book. Chapter 22.
His eyes closed again. He would think it was all a dream. Hopefully.
Oh, so he's like half passed out the whole time.
So the Yeerks can just drop this dude off at a hospital in a van, and he's like covered in blood and shit.
Is he?
I think so. I mean, they like wrestled him to the ground and knocked him over.
So did they not put a Yeerk in him?
No. They didn't do. Yeah, they didn't put a Yeerk in him. Like
so they literally
put him in a box outside of their lawn.
So they literally upheld their side of the deal.
The Yeerks are good people.
The Yeerks are.
They're not liars.
Good people.
The Yeerks are honest.
It's canon.
The Yeerks have integrity.
Animorphs are scummy.
The Yeerks, if they say something, they'll do it. Like they'll cheat and they'll try to do what they can to get ahead, but they don't lie.
So Visser won.
They're deceitful, yeah. But if they say they're gonna do something, they do it. That's what we've learned.
They have honor.
They have honor. The Yeerks have honor more than humans. More than Andalites.
More than Andalites because Elfangor didn't follow the rules.
Yeah.
What a stupid book.
Stupid book.
Okay, end of podcast. Stupid book.
Let me see if I have any other notes.
I'm done with. I'm out of notes.
Axe asks, are skunks?
Are skunks sacred animals?
Are skunks a sacred animal to humans? And
I like that.
I love, because that's what they were acting like this, and then everyone just ignores him. They're like,
no, Marco says they are to Cassie.
Every animal's sacred to Cassie.
Yeah. And I like that now Axe knows just general human knowledge because he read this whole almanac. So he just has this random trivia that he knows, but just really general stuff. But I mean specific stuff too. But
not. Do you know that the ice cream separator was invented in 1838?
Yeah, but he doesn't know stuff that is always specific to where they are. You know, he's like, oh, humans eat cats and dogs and wolves. And
he's
whatever.
like, well, humans eat animals too, like sheep, pigs, cows, dogs, and we don't eat dogs. We don't eat dogs.
I do. I have an Axe quote. After Cassie sprays the skunk thing, Axe says, "I believe the smell is causing me to become deranged. I may have to run away in panic."
Yeah.
That was silly.
I don't like the voice that the audiobook gives to Axe.
I don't either. It makes him sound like a weird computer.
Oh, am I the only one who hasn't listened to the audiobook?
No, I only listened to it for 4 chapters. And I
have only listened to it for 0 chapters.
It's the podcast Audiomorphs, not an official audiobook.
No.
We're not dissing Audiomorphs. I mean, they're the ones who are reading out the entire books for people to enjoy.
No, we're not dissing them. We're just saying I don't like Axe's voice.
I think he does a good job. He has sound effects sometimes, and his Marco voice is really funny. I think, and his Jake voice is funny too because he sounds way too serious.
Well, Jake is way too serious.
Yeah, I think it's fitting. It's all one guy.
It's all a fitting. Is it one guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's a fitting tone for the series, I think.
I like Rachel and Marco's chemistry. It's a small moment in this book. Rachel patted Marco on his head. "Don't worry, I don't look down on you for being short, Marco. I look down on you just for being you." Marco grabbed his chest in pain. "Arg!" And Xena puts another spear in me.
I thought that was a good scene.
I like Marco and Rachel's chemistry.
So this book says that Cassie is
most of the characters have good chemistry, except with freaking Cassie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this book says that Cassie's less than 5 feet, and also it seems Marco is shorter than Rachel. Right?
It's based on that one scene.
So that's cool, I guess.
Well, Rachel's really tall and Marco's really short, so
Rachel,
I always assumed that.
It's before they hit puberty, too.
They're all 13, so the girls are probably short.
Okay, by the way, I don't think it's ever hinted at the ages, by the way, so...
No.
They go to
Book one. It says that, I think it hints at Jake just down to middle school. So it says yes, his brother left the middle school team.
Oh, you're right. That was the only hint we ever got. The only hint we ever got was that Jake's brother Tom is in high school now, and he was in middle school.
And now he applied for the team he was on, which would probably be the middle school team.
In this book,
that's the only time it ever mentions any kind of age.
In this book, Marco says, "I mean, I knew the middle school years would be tough, but this is a little much."
For middle school,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? 12, 13?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I like the rest of the quote. Can you read the rest of the paragraph that precedes that?
Do you want to, or do you want me to?
I don't have it open.
Okay.
So.
That's a good quote.
This is when they're gonna freaking take their time and use it to raise skunks. And Marco says, "Nah, it's not stupid. Let's see, I'm behind in my homework. My dad thinks I've joined a gang because I'm never around. I don't sleep much because every time I try, I suddenly termite again, and I wake up screaming. I never get to just sit around and watch TV, and in my spare time, I have to help figure out how we're going to keep the Yerks from turning some guy named Farron into a controller so they can wipe out the forest and hunt down the bird boy and the universe's only almanac-reading Andalite. I mean, I knew the middle school years would be tough, but this is a little much."
And what's your quote after that? I like the quote after that.
She just read it 2 seconds
Jake
ago.
says, "So in other words, you'll be glad to help."
Oh, yeah.
Which
was then negated by the thing that comes right after it.
What? No, it's funny. What? That was the funniest joke in the book, besides the one in Marco's.
Wait, what's the joke?
Where Jake says, in other words, he'll be glad to help.
Well, I didn't really interpret it as a quote. I interpret it as a nice moment between Jake and Marco where Jake's like, "Oh, Marco, I know you talk about that stuff, but I know it's all just kind of a front. I know that you're really happy to do this stuff." But then they're like, "Nope, that was just a joke, haha."
I think it's kind of like that. See, I
just felt like Applegate writing specifically that everybody laughed at it just kind of ruined it for me. Because, I mean, I love Marco's jokes, and also nobody laughs at Marco's jokes, so,
Well, because Marco jokes all the time, but when Mr. Serious Man Jake makes a joke, everyone's like, "Oh, that's funny."
Oh, yeah, it says specifically that Jake has a really dry sense of humor and thinks that Cassie's dad is funny because he has a really dry sense of humor.
Sometimes
I have to say the chili scene was probably my least favorite part of the other book. Not because of Axe, but just because of just how they talked about the chili was just so cringy to me.
Oh no, I love that. That's how My uncle would talk about.
Oh my god!
I've never met
Everyone
anybody in
loves
real
my
life who
chili.
talks the way Cassie's dad does.
Really? Oh
and
no,
it just
I know
made me
so many
uncomfortable.
people.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's more normal than I think, and maybe it's not as cringy as I.
I mean, it's still cringy, but a lot of people do it
intentional.
anyway.
It's supposed to be cringe.
No, finally someone who loves and respects my good old chili.
Yeah, that's like exactly
that's-
what like it's like 40-year-old white
They
men
just-
who talk like
Just
that.
talk about chili.
Yeah,
It's just, why would you just?
Yeah.
They just overdo it.
That's how old people talk.
that's how old people who make
Boomers.
chili talk. Like
It's such
people who make chili really care about chili. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess so.
Yes. I
My
agree.
mom. I would negate
I
that
don't
by
know why
saying
I'm
that
so
my mom makes
enthusiastic.
chili, but she only makes it on the days when she knows she's not going to be eating dinner with the rest of us because she doesn't like chili.
Yeah, I don't like chili.
Well, like some people are very passionate about it,
Yeah.
and I only know that because every TV show I've ever watched has a chili baking competition.
What?
But
No, my uncle's like, oh, you think my chili's gonna be really hot and spicy. Yep, you probably won't be able to handle my spicy chili. Yep, but it's good chili, man. It's gonna taste so good. But man, is it spicy? You won't believe this spicy chili. He'll go on like until we eat the chili all day about that at family gatherings.
Okay. That's crazy.
one other quote I liked is Tobias sometimes hangs out with Rachel. He flies into her upstairs room and watches TV or reads things he can't. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
I love
so
the-
cute.
I love the idea of
So
Tobias and
cute.
Rachel watching TV together.
You're just watching TV, bro, but he's a bird and she's a human.
And then her mom comes in and she like stuffs him under her pillow.
I know. I'm like, well, what if the controller like was looking through her window during?
I
that?
assume she closes her blinds at the very least.
Do you think she like holds on to him like it's like a pillow pad?
She picks fleas out of his.
Tobias doesn't like being held.
Oh, he
sadly.
doesn't.
No.
Since when?
In
Hawks
one of the
don't like
earlier
being
books,
held.
I think in one of
She
the
tried
earlier
to hug
books, it
him
says
and then he was like,
Tobias
Hawks
is just
don't-
like, eee.
Oh yeah, when he was a human, he like instinctively flapped away.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
flapped his arms when Rachel tried to hug him. So I like thinking about Rachel and Tobias watching TV.
They're so
together.
much cooler than Cassie and Jake. Like at first I was like, no, Cassie and Jake are okay, but I'm like, yeah, they're lame. Yeah, better is right. Tobias and Rachel are so much better.
Thank you. Wow. I literally did not think anyone would agree with me on any point in this book, but no, we're not arguing.
You
at
thought we
all.
would all love this book?
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
no.
I did.
How
Based
stupid
on
do
the
you
things,
think
the
we are?
stupid things you've said in the past.
Yeah, that
I
or
think you
just-
would have all loved
I
it.
Dude, my favorite part of episode 3 is when Bean Ashwell was like, "Yeah, I thought book 2 was better." And then immediately Matt was like, "What? Are you stupid?" Just like immediately.
No, I think Batters like disagreed with the rest of the people the most, which surprises me.
Well,
No, you've disagreed with us the most.
I have.
Yeah, you have.
You're just trying
But
to shift
I'm
the
just the one
blame.
that starts off all the arguments. That's why I'm more memorable when I disagree with people.
No, I think Stir is pretty memorable because he has these terrible opinions.
The thing is, Stir defends everything, and Battle puts everything down. Is what it is.
What?
What?
You're the Battle usually says something's bad, and you'll like defend stuff usually.
Oh yeah, I'll
Oh,
say
right,
something
okay.
good. I'll say something
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, usually saying something good.
But even you can't.
So-
Even you can't
don't like
defend this book.
This
Yeah.
was a very argument-free episode.
Even
Yeah.
you can't. It was just us shouting about this is just us all shouting at the book.
Like, how many parts we argue about when we bought a previous book? There's
Yeah.
nothing to say about this one.
We don't want to talk about it.
Another quote I liked. They don't want that. Marco looked like he had some smart reply to make. Then he said, "Oh." Jake cocked an eyebrow at his best friend. See, Marco, this is why Cassie is a nicer person than you. She could have said, "They don't want that." Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm such a micro sometimes.
What's
I like the part where Cassie describes being afraid of the termite as she acquires it. That's one of the parts where Cassie's character actually felt like a person and not just like a whiny little stupid baby. I held up my own hand. It was shaking. It was shaking and I couldn't stop it from shaking. The brightly lit mall food court suddenly seemed dark. Lord, that tiny insect scared me. Deep down inside, it truly scared me.
Well, you think this is one of the parts where Cassie is more human-like?
Yes, because it's like...
I was really annoyed with her at this part.
I thought the parts about her like debating what is environmentalist and what like whether or not it's morally right to kill termites and whether or not it's morally right for them to stop the Urks and stuff. I thought that was kind of interesting.
It was
I
interesting,
was like, who
guess.
cares?
I mean,
You're
it was-
fighting yours.
It was at least related to a character, unlike some other stuff.
It was
Well, that's like one of the few
I
times
thought
when we see
by
actual
its-
conflict
by
in
itself,
Cassie.
it's interesting, but
Yeah,
the,
by
It was a
itself.
good conflict.
but the
like,
fact that she's thinking
you
about
know.
this stuff like while in the middle of Yerk territory makes me think that she's just really distracted and like bored with the Yerks or something. And she's like, you know what's a bigger issue than the Yeerks?
These
Skunk
four
babies.
skunk-
Yeah.
this skunk baby that Tobias ate. I can't believe you.
Man, I'm so glad Tobias
Tobias
ate
is
that
the
skunk
real
baby.
villain of the series.
Tobias eating that skunk baby was the best part of this book, man.
Yeah.
It's not on screen.
Yeah, it was like, there's 4 skunks left.
See, I don't mind when cool stuff is off screen, because then you can imagine it. I guess the whole point of books is to imagine it.
I like the quote from Marco, you could end up very dead that way. You have a better idea, Jake asked Marco? We could go home and watch TV.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Are you the only one with notes left?
I have
notes. I just don't feel like talking about them.
I have just miscellaneous tiny.
All my notes are like, look at that.
This part sucks.
That was fast.
Hang on, do you have anything like interesting to say?
Question mark.
I have
Angry
some funny
face.
comments.
Tobias again.
Tobias hit one of the guys from
Yeah.
Tobias hit one of the guys from the Jeep. Tobias has more experience than I do. His aim is better. The guy he hit would be wearing an eye patch for the rest of his life. Yeehaw!
Yeah, that was a
Tobias
pretty
cried.
metal way of putting that, especially to add with yeehaw.
I know. I was like, Tobias, jeez.
Oh, yeah,
Why does he blind someone? And
This
his
guy's
reaction
getting
is like,
Was that-
guys, check out this pro gamer move. I'm
Hang
gonna
on.
blind someone.
So was that a human controller? Yeah, it was. Just Visitor 3 didn't get blinded. The Visitor 3, the one who can heals, and is not an actual...
Yeah, why do they keep
human.
hurting humans? They keep cutting humans' hands off and gouging their eyes out. Why?
Then he
Why do they hate humans so much?
And then going, yeehaw!
These
They're not
Animorphs are
actually
bad
actual-
people.
If
This
they-
book
if-
taught us that the Animorphs suck.
If the Yeerks were using skunks and they like so much just touched their hair, Cassie would be all over their.
Yeah, but they're gouging people's eyes out and cutting their hands off, and no one cares. These are human beings with slugs inside them. You're cutting their hands
And,
off.
like, on the very same page, Axe removes somebody's hand again, and now I think
He does?
Wait, he does?
Yeah.
I didn't notice
Okay.
that.
Axe's tail flashed, and the controller no longer had a way to pull a trigger.
Whoa!
Oh, God.
You said that? That was
Cool.
cool.
Axe is just, that's all he does.
Axe is good in this
He
book.
actually cut off like 5 humans' hands and brought this up. He just keeps cutting humans' hands off.
He can collect the hands in a jar at this point.
I was literally gonna say, oh well, he doesn't cut anyone's hands off in this book, but it's, but no, he does. But he does.
It's a once per book occurrence.
This guy, like, man.
There are more hands cut off than people saying, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah. I can't think of my last name."
So there's this part where Cassie gets shot. Oh yeah, she's on Osprey and she gets caught. And this is after the Termite Queen thing, and she's now on Osprey and she's flying away. But the Yeerks shoot her, and she says, "My world grew small and dark. I could no longer see anything far away. I could focus only on the ground right before me. An ant was marching by, carrying a dead bug. Maybe I was just imagining things as I sank into unconsciousness. Maybe my brain was making up things that weren't there. But I could almost have sworn that the ant was carrying the dead, dried-out husk of the Termite Queen."
I thought that was a good little detail.
Yeah, I said cool detail because I thought it looks like it looks very like anime in my mind. Like Cassie's like falling to the ground, like, oh.
Hang on, do you watch anime?
I don't.
Because this is the second time we've compared something to anime.
It's just like in all those animes I've seen where her head falls to the ground. And then there's a close-up shot of her eye, and her eye opens up, and there's an ant walking by.
No one can see the motions you're making.
It's just like one of my Japanese animes.
It's just like one of these animes
That's a quote
That
from
I'm-
Metal Gear Solid.
that I'm just
There's
acting
a
out right
character named
now.
Otacon.
Yeah,
She's one
they
of
can
our
hear the
otaku
noises you're making, that's
conventions.
Yeah, I know. We didn't mention how incredible, how we didn't mention how stupid it was the way that Cassie gets out of the box, which was she sprays Visitor 3 in the face, and the smell is so bad that somebody fires their gun randomly and breaks the box open.
Wait, that
What?
happened?
Thanks for mentioning
Is that what happened?
Yes.
I don't remember that. What? Oh my gosh, that's really what happened? Read it.
Let me try and find it. It's in chapter 22. Don't shoot, you fools! Visitor 3 screamed. You'll hit the human, or me. Actually, what they had hit was the floor. A big smoldering hole appeared in the wood. And then she runs out.
What? Hang on, what's the quote?
Does she run out through the wood?
She runs out through the big smoldering hole that appeared in the wooden box.
Oh, it's a wooden box?
I guess so.
Why is it a wooden box?
Oh, I thought
That's
the
all
floor
the-
was just made out of wood.
That's all the Yeerks
They
had.
just have a crate?
They have one
They have a
crate.
Well,
crate.
doesn't it say it has regular air holes?
I don't remember that.
Why would they need to cut air holes in a wooden box? What kind of...
No.
Where are their air... What?
They wouldn't
What?
need air holes.
I don't
in
think it's a wooden box.
What's an airtight
Breathing
wooden
in a wooden box is hard. You still would want air holes.
No, you wouldn't... Name me a airtight wooden box.
It's not airtight, but it's still air small.
It's air lacking.
How many more notes do you have?
I remembered a quote, but I forgot it.
Okay, I'm looking up airtight wooden box. Airtight wooden herb stash box. Smell.
No, those are all my notes.
Okay.
No, these are like half wooden.
Damn, what were you talking about just now before that?
Getting shot.
How
About
they-
getting shot in the box.
How the Yerks, how the way that Cassie gets out is that she sprays them and the smell is so bad that they fire wildly and shoots the box open.
I remember another stupid thing, but I forgot it by the time we finished saying that.
Is it the book, perhaps?
I feel like we don't need examples about how dumb this book is because it's just the whole book.
The whole package just sounds so whiny, but people probably haven't read this book. Maybe they have.
I'm be natural.
I'm better.
I'm mustard.
I'm sure.
You always have like a little pause between I'm and mustard. Do you always just forget your name for a split second before you sign off?
Did you
No.
pause? I think
It's
that's
like,
just how
I'm
it talks.
mustard. I'm mustard.
No, it's just how I talk. I don't know.
I guess it is because you've said that every single time.
Otherwise, it sounds like the I from I'm is the same as the M.
Yeah,
from
I was saying
mustard.
I'm mustard.
Or I
That's
mustard.
a very good point.
Okay.
Anyway, this joke book here, it was written in 1997, which is the same year this book came out.
Wow.
What were we on? Sunday school? Oh boy, this one's good. What is a needle's best subject?
Sewing.
Hold on. A needle.
Spelling.
Pointing.
Hey, get up
yeah.
here.
Needle's best
Ouching.
subject.
Jim.
Needle. Health class because
Wait,
of
hold
drugs.
on.
Home ec.
Is it like a sewing needle? I assume it's the sewing needle.
Yeah.
The sewing needle. Mending.
Okay, hold on. What subject?
Welding.
Like school subjects? Well,
Yeah.
there's
Math. English.
there's math,
science.
English, science.
Social studies.
Social studies.
Social studies.
Yes. Social studies. SEW-CIAL. Good job.
We worked together on that.
I didn't think you did that one.
That's teamwork.
Okay, podcast over. Bye.
Man, we didn't talk about anything good in this podcast.
This podcast was
talked about
great.
termites.
We talked about the Morons of smell. Okay, any final thoughts before I hit the stop recording button?
I want this
I
book
had
to
a
be
good
better
piss.
than it is.
Oh, my final note was this book sucks.
I had this.
Yeah, let
I
me-
enjoyed this piss that I just had more than I enjoyed reading the book.
My last note was the ending is really silly. LOL.
I wrote like LMAO XD.
Some stinky caca.
Skunk spray equals fart. Haha. Give me up votes.
Yeah, this book ended with Cassie farting in Visit 3's face.
I don't like. I'm just upset that that Applegate decided to play skunks from the farting angle.
This is the climax of the film. This is the climax of the book when Cassie farts in Visit 3's face.
I don't think it was necessarily meant to be like a farting angle.
No, it wasn't. But
That's just the thing songs do.
it's technically what happened.
It was only a farting angle when... I mean, no, it wasn't a farting angle. It was a skunk smell angle.
Yeah, they never
It was a skunk smell angle, but it was played similarly
They
to the way
never-
I've seen farts played in the
They
past.
never mentioned
In what shows does a character fart on someone and they're like, oh, I'm too smelly from your fart. Please tell me how to make this fart smell better. That doesn't happen. In what media does that happen? We're still talking about the stupid book. What's up? By the way, I don't know. I'm probably gonna just edit this in like immediately after. But we ended the podcast like 20 minutes ago, and we're still talking about this dumb book. It's been 2.5 hours.
Alright, I'm closing it. There. We're officially done.